Aha! There we go. All right, whoo, man, I got a little nervous there. I was like, oh, man, what's going on? We got a problem. But now we rowdy, rowdy. We got this thing lacking up in here. Whew. All right, guys. Happy April Fool's Day. And this isn't a prank. I have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Caanan White, my brother, and my partner on the comic book brand. What's going on, Caanan? How you doing, player?
I'm doing good, man. I'm getting my energy back, man. So I'm feeling good, feeling a lot better.
All right,
so, yeah,
good, man.
How you doing?
Man, getting in while I fit in, bro. You know how we do, man. Yeah, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
What's up, audience?
Yeah, definitely. Rest in peace to the man Nipsey Hussle as well, too, man.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I did not. That video went nuts on my channel, man. It's got like 70,000 views, bro.
Yeah, and it's almost like you was like TMZ, man. You broke it first.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, I was doing something. I was actually doing some writing, and all of a sudden I got this little ding, and it was TMZ, and I was like, whoa! And I dropped everything I did, and I cut the video immediately.
Yeah,
and loaded it up, and all of a sudden it was 1,000 views. Then it was 4,000 views. Then it was 20,000 views. It was 30. I was like, whoa, this thing's going crazy. And I'm like, I could not believe it. I was like,
it's sad, man. Like when you reported it, that what's up, Malin? I think he's in the chat.
Yeah, I see, John. John, what's going on, man?
When you reported it, man, I mean, nobody knew. And then eventually, it didn't take long for, the truth come out that he was dead. So,
so Thunderbird, thanks for the super chat. No prank, just a super chat. Well, I thank you for it. Yeah, that is good. James Hayes, anyone else find that April Fool's Day makes them think about random Batman and the Joker stores?
Interesting.
I'd be thinking more like the Riddler. Well, either way, even actually on both the Batman and the Joker and the Riddler, it seems like they would use him as like the butt of the joke, to do especially old school like Silver Age and Golden Age Batman. They would use him to do like joke-based crimes or riddle-based crime, that kind of thing.
Right.
Because the Riddler and the Joker almost seem the same, except personality-wise. The Joker is clearly insane.
The Riddler is too.
But see, that's the thing. Sometimes that would be throwing me off. Sometimes they throw the Riddler in Blackgate, and other times they throw him in Arkham.
Right. And like, well, if you ever read the story arc of Joker versus the Riddler.
You talking about the war of jokes and riddles?
You'll kind of see the contrast of the two, which is pretty cool because you don't really see that often. It's just usually one or the other because they're so kind of larger than life in their own right. But the way they matched them up in that particular story arc was pretty ingenious, man. I mean, I was like, oh, that's a different conflict.
But see, the Riddler, to me, there was one story I know where he actually had he was trying to summon this demon spirit. I can't remember the full. I mean, it was a crazy story. I think Norm Brayfogle was the artist on it, if I'm not mistaken. I had to go back and look at it, but it was like a 6-part story, and I think they collected it. I think they've got a trade paperback. I've got it on my list, the Dollar Bin. I'm pretty sure I put that on there, but it was incredibly insane, the steps that the Riddler went through, but he had clearly been manipulated by this demon entity or whatever. It was
to summon itself.
Yeah, I mean, he had to have Batman perform the dance of the bat. And the way but he knew he couldn't get Batman to dance. He had to be wearing a bat suit, which he's Batman, so he already had the bat suit. So what he did was he had all these henchmen with flamethrowers, and they had to they had to shoot the flamethrowers at Batman at certain times and make him do the flips and different. I was like, oh man, I don't know. It was very interesting the way the story was written because there was a and he had to slice the throat of a newborn baby, and he knew Batman wasn't gonna slice no baby's throat, so he put this golf ball that was just the right size in the baby's throat. So then Batman had to perform a tracheotomy on the baby. I mean, they tied everything together.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was an insane story, but it was kind of well written. I mean, when they paid off why things happened at the end, you were like, hey, that's actually pretty clever. The writer put a lot of thought into it, I'd say.
Very, very psychological. That's cool.
But yeah, when Batman realized what was happening, he was like, do you not understand this bat spirit was trying to, and I'm trying to think, it might be the same bat god that they used for Dark Knight's metal.
If it was him, what's his name? Barbosa?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Barbados.
I had to go back and find that. I had to find Dark Knight, Dark City. Yes, that is it. That is that story is insane, but it's very well written.
It might be Barbados.
Yeah, because I mean, but that was a minute ago. Yeah, that I think that was it. But that was one of the better Riddler stories. I like to think, everybody doesn't have a killing joke, and that's one of the things. Obviously the Joker has killing joke, and now the Riddler has that Pride and I can't even talk, Pride and Prejudice, which that story is great. I don't know if you've actually read it.
I think I remember seeing the artwork. I think Jim Lee did it, didn't he?
No, it's what's the guy, Mark Herzog or something? I was like, he's a screenwriter or something. He was on Ethan's channel, and he was talking about the book, and I had heard about it, but I never read it. And I went on Amazon, I bought the trade paperback. It was
It's always good when you get those like epics, man, where you forget you're reading a comic book. It's like, man, this is actually, it could be a movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to pull up the different books because I know I have the damn Penguin book. Retro Graphics, what's good, people? Hey, how you doing? And Porkino says it was Barbados. Okay, because that is, like I said, the Penguin, the Riddler ended up being, when everything came out, it ended up being that he was being manipulated by the demon.
Right.
So hold on.
It's crazy that they revisited that in the whole Dark Knight's Metal.
Well, I actually like that. I actually like that they take an old classic story or whatever, and then they'll
flip it.
Yeah.
Make it still relevant. That's what's cool, man. To DC's credit, man, that they, as much as I hated the New 52, like a lot of it, but they were clever about saying the events of the New 52 still happen, as well as the pre-52 stuff, which I thought was cool. That way people were, you won't be like, well, why didn't this happen, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, Flashpoint still happened, Convergence still happened, Rebirth still happened, like all these different things. So all the stories like Nightfall and, it was, what was the one?
Knight's Quest? Because there's Nightfall and Knight's Quest.
Nightfall, but the one with Nightwing. Was it the Badlands? Not the Badlands. What's it called? No Man's Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all those different events and stuff still went down, with a Killing Joke, all that stuff still happened. So you're like, oh, okay. So they didn't throw out the baby with the bathwater, kind of thing. It still has relevance. So, Death of Superman, he still died, Doomsday and like all those different things. So, but DC kind of has the back door of it's a multiverse. that they can play with. You know, if anybody ever says, "I don't understand," it's like, "Oh, well, I was just one of the, I was just one of the 52 universes." Like, oh, okay.
Oh, and I found that one book. It's called Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, not Pride and Prejudice. Pain and Prejudice. It's written by Greg Hurwitz, and I think the artist is a Serbian guy. I mean, it's a real kind of broken down type,
okay,
that kind of thing. So it's I just thought the story is exceptionally written. It really, and I already like the Penguin. A lot of you see a lot of Batman writers like Scott Snyder and stuff like that have admitted that they don't really like the Penguin. The Penguin is like
I'd be one of those.
yeah. That's why I was like, but I always liked the Penguin. I always thought I thought he was cool if he's written properly.
That's the key right there.
But if he's written, people do that hokey stuff.
Yeah, if he's written right, you can really almost like when they take give him a sort of a dark overtone, but also still make him seem like a mob boss. Not so creature like, but an actual almost like a kingpin. Mob, like a mob boss. I mean, he is. I think he's one of the I think probably second or third richest people in Gotham. As an underworld leader. So I mean, he should follow suit. It's kind of like how they do Lex Luthor, which is why I had issues with like the movie, and I think it was a Grant Morrison's take on Lex Luthor. Yes, he is crazy, but at the same time, man, he's very, very smart.
Yeah, I think Lex isn't crazy. I think he's just evil.
He's bitter. Yeah.
It's like yeah, he's definitely I'm like, that kind of thing.
He's definitely jealous of Superman. But yeah, I think when they write him that way, that's why I like the way they did him on like the Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that. I thought that was a good version of where he became president and all this stuff. Like it's like that's the Lex Luthor I was expecting in the movie. But whatever. It is what it is. DC, they're trying to find their footsteps, but it was definitely not what I expected. The eccentric, spastic Lex Luthor was not my idea of a Lex Luthor. But I know he had to bring his spin on it. But yeah, I always like when they make Lex actually feel like a businessman.
Yeah, because once you put him in like the Lex armor, he kind of starts. Oh, okay, we go back to those to the 40s and 50s, and he's in a giant robot with boxing gloves with a kryptonite heart or something. It's that kind of thing.
Well, I don't mind the armor so much, man, because I mean, it still doesn't change the character. It's just like a means to an end for him. But the whole that angle where he was all eccentric and weird and kind of just out there that Grant Morrison brought, and then also like I said, the same vibe that they brought to the Justice League, Batman versus Superman. I don't picture that as Lex. Maybe his son, Alexander. Maybe that would fit for him because that's kind of like his personality. He kind of went crazy.
Yeah, I can see that having Lex as a father. That's gonna make your ass go crazy.
Right.
But hey, guys, I see like 30 people watching on my screen, and we only got 6 likes, man. Take that quick second and hit the like button, please.
Yes, sure.
Please hit the like button.
If you're on Twitter, tweet it out there, man. So people can check it out. Come by.
Let's get it out there. Yeah, absolutely, man. But I will say, I got over 100-something new subs yesterday. That
video.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah, we over heading towards 3,000, so we good.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. That's what it is. Swiss Shark. The only DC character I hate is Professor Pig. I hate DC's Grindhouse Pig. I don't know. A lot of people like Professor Pig.
He's kind of creepy, dude.
He should have, I don't think he should have been in the Gotham TV show though.
They put him in there.
Yeah, they got all the Batman villains in there, all the major ones. They got Mr. Freeze in there. They got Bane in there now. They got, Riddler and Penguin, and of course they're, Penguin fell in love with Riddler and
oh really?
Did you? Oh man,
I don't watch Gotham, man.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. I gotta play you my epic rant that I had on Gotham. You'll have to listen to it. It was crazy.
See, sometimes they do that to accommodate for the actor too.
Well, yeah, the guy, actually both actors, the guy that plays the Riddler and the guy that plays the Penguin are both openly gay. Although the Riddler actor, he only came out like last year, if I'm not mistaken. But the guy that plays the Riddler, he's been, he's married and he's been openly gay for a while. But
gotcha.
That's the whole point of acting. You're pretending. Okay, so pretend you're straight and be and pretend. Super Unknown, I'm begging you, telling you need to rant that hard about each of the pre-Nolan Batman movies. I don't know. I didn't get the reason Gotham got me so worked up was because I liked Gotham the first season, and then they started doing that weird stuff. They started inserting things in there.
Yeah,
everybody's either bisexual, gay, whatever. I was just like, what are y'all doing, man? It was just like you're inserting all this weird stuff. It's interesting.
Again, I don't mind. I don't mind, man. I mean, if it's like that on the onset, you know what I'm saying? But just like this, I don't know.
I just want them to respect the material.
Yeah, like the integrity of the character, man. Like it's, I mean, but I know it ain't our character, so they can do pretty much whatever the heck they want. But still, like I mean, I'm like, to me, when you do stuff like that, it shuts off your fan base.
And their ratings steadily declined every year. That's why, they've got an abbreviated season this year that is just allowing them to close the storyline up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you've strayed away from the core of the characters, man. And like I said, you get the new audience, which is awesome, But then but you isolate the ones that also are interested in watching the show too. It's like,
and I'd also put out there, it didn't help that the guy that's playing the Penguin, he was going off talking about if you had a problem with the homosexual relationship between the Riddler and the Penguin, that you're homophobic, as opposed to just being a fan that those characters have always been portrayed as straight characters.
Oh, so he turned it into a movement.
Yeah. And I was like, he's at cons and stuff going, oh, those guys are homophobic. That's why. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
I tuned out, bro. That's what I tuned out. Not because trust me, if the show was, I don't care if the guys was the guy that played Lex Luthor's dad on Smallville. He's been gay for years, and he's a brilliant actor. I think his name's John Glover. Might be wrong, but that guy he played. If you notice in Smallville, he had a little crush on Martha Kent. He wasn't. They didn't have him flaming it up. He was always written as a heterosexual character, and even though the actor was gay, they continued to have him as a heterosexual character.
And I think that's cool, man. Keeping to the, like I said, keeping to the integrity of the character. And so I don't mind at all. If you're gonna do, if the character, is gay or lesbian, whatever. Just like, if it's like that on the onset, is what I'm saying. Okay, I get it. But when it's just kind of like you're doing if the character was always like that or whatever. And I know, like in real life, people evolve and they're like, oh, I just discovered I was this way or whatever. You want to, drop that bomb, that you're now gay. I get all that, but at the same time, man, like deal with that, but then keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because again, you have a viewer audience that's also, heterosexual, so it's like, you gotta keep that in mind as well. Like you want to try to appeal to as much as, I know you try to say you can't please everybody, but as an entertainer, that's kind of your job.
Oh yeah, and Brennan Pitts has a good point. John Wesley Shipp, the original Flash, yeah, he's been openly gay for several years, and he was also the dad on Dawson's Creek. He was on Dawson's Creek, but he was playing a heterosexual man.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. He is gay. I forgot.
Yeah, he's been openly. That's what I'm saying. But he's an actor. You're acting, so. Yeah. As opposed to I think the guy that plays the Riddler, I think his name's Robin Taylor Lord, and yeah, he's openly gay. He's married to a man, all that. But the Penguin has always been portrayed as a womanizer and stuff in the comic. Oh no, look at him gay now. He's gay now. He's in love with the Riddler.
And he had a special affinity for Catwoman.
Yeah, I mean I'm like, that's crazy, man. I was like. And then,
but I mean, they got again. I know they're trying to, it's that whole, the agenda thing, man. It's like, that's what I just think you can't isolate people like that, man. Like you shut off to try to just aim it at one particular group. Even people will say, well, what about Black Panther? Wasn't that? No, Black Panther was very inclusive, even though it had predominantly black actors. And they had, they would say, but it was still, I was trying to say it was still inclusive. It wasn't just like, it was only aimed at like black people. It did what it needed to do, but at the same time, man, like if you weren't educated on who Black Panther was, it still kind of like, brought you into the world of, Black Panther. It didn't like stay, like a black movie. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can
see, yeah, you actually said something, and I thought that was like, okay, so they put Martin Freeman in Black Panther as Everett K. Ross. And there's been a few interviews that I've seen with Christopher Priest, and he specifically wrote Black Panther and put Everett Ross in there. He created that character on purpose. Why? Because he was like, I feel like not only is Black Panther black, but he's African. So even a lot of American blacks can't relate to him because he's African. So let's take an American.
That's good.
And put him as the center of focus. He said, because if you go back and actually read my run on Black Panther, it was highly focused on Agent Ross and how he dealt with, being in Wakanda, how he dealt with T'Challa and all that kind of stuff. So
right.
That's one of the things that I thought was, pretty smart when you look back, because it was seamless. He didn't just like, look, there's a white guy here. He just wrote it real smart, and you just kind of deal with that. Let me see. Let's see, Jason, have you heard they're rebooting Spawn, and Kwanzaa is rumored to be the writer? Yeah, good luck with that. And
the guy doing the black and white thing.
Yeah, that's a April Fool. Because number one, Todd, I do think Todd needs to bring in a writer on Spawn. I don't know. I haven't enjoyed the Spawn stories as much over the last few years. I just feel like he has great ideas. I think Todd's an idea guy, but he's not really a writer. And yeah, and I'm saying that is even though I know he's written like 300 issues of Spawn.
Well, I mean, it may not necessarily even be a writer as it is a good storyteller. You you can write anything, but being a good storyteller is like something that's you can't. I mean, you can learn, but I'm saying like, but that's something that you have to take the time to do. Like, Frank Miller is an amazing storyteller. He took Batman and put him in a different place that most people would have never thought the character could go. Alan Moore is a good storyteller. Guys like that. They create these. Wheezy and her husband. Good storytellers. You know what I'm saying? Like they create story and content, man. That like when you're done reading it, man, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, like this was amazing, so like but I say anybody can write something, but being a storyteller is a skill, just like being an artist. You can be a drawer, anybody can just draw something, but being a storyteller, a comic artist, and a sequential artist takes time, it takes skill, it takes a different mindset. And like I always thought Spawn was like, honestly I haven't read a lot of them, but it seems like they were hard to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love, like I said, I dig, the game, man, that Todd McFarlane has played, man. I mean, he's winning, kind of thing, man.
Like if I'm Todd, I would be more of a director type. I would be making sure that they know, okay, this is what I want to start happening.
Well, it seems like he's kind of taking that role though for this new one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's doing the story.
I mean, he still writes, but he's not the artist. He's got a pretty cool artist on the book. He's he's had several, like, what was the guy? Dwayne Turner, was art, Greg Capullo, obviously.
I meant for the movie. It seems like he's taking more of a directorial.
Yeah, because they shit on his art. He talked about that, a lot of the problems that they had with the first Spawn from 1998 or whatever.
He was like 94 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah, so he talked about that, where just like even that character Terry that was black in the comics, they're like, oh, you got too many black people in here, so they're like, we need white people, and so they made him make Spawn's best friend the white guy and everything. They switched it, and he was like, stuff like that. He had set it up in the comic book on purpose, and then the Hollywood people made him change it. So he was like, if I'm doing this book, I want to do it. I want it to feel like Spawn, because he's like, and then they relied too heavily on CG effects, and it was just too much. But
well, you mean, he kind of had to though. I mean, it's early on. You talking about mid to late 90s, man. Animation and CGI was still pretty much in its early stages, man. So he was lucky enough to get something that looked decent. So I mean, but I thought they did, all things considered, man, especially when it came to the way Spawn's cape functioned and everything. I thought that was pretty decent. Of course,
was decent, but they didn't have it right. They just didn't have it. It wasn't time yet. It was just, they needed about 15 more years of computer.
Once the Matrix came out, man, that put everybody in a different category. So it was like, okay, so it is possible to do certain things. I mean, Matrix changed cinema, completely.
Yeah, I didn't know Will Smith was supposed to be Neo, and then he turned it down. I didn't know. That would have been interesting.
I'll tell you another thing, and you probably knew or not, but we found out actually. I don't know if it was in the news or whatever, but Matrix was actually written by a black lady.
Yeah. Now, okay.
And
Now let me. I saw that. I
yeah,
actually saw that. Now she sued. She definitely sued.
yeah, there's one too.
She's got a book, and it's very similar. And she sued, and they claimed she won her lawsuit. But there's a lot of dispute on that, and it looks like all the sources that I've seen. Man, I don't know. But I watched. She did. There's an interview actually with her on because she sued James Cameron. She sued James Cameron and she sued the Wachowskis because she said that some of her idea for the Matrix was used for the Terminator, and then another part of her idea for the Matrix was used for the Matrix.
Right.
So that's what so it was kind of a strange thing where
and I guess they said she had documentation. That kind of like
the book came out at a certain time and all that.
Yeah, it's one of them things like without trying to knowing our culture and how spiritual it is. It's not surprising that would be the case. The spirit. It was because there were so many parallels with the Bible, the Matrix and things like that, and it's just So I mean, I'm not surprised if that is the case, man. Because to actually take something, man, all you gotta do is change one word or one one idea, and then all of a sudden it's yours, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So.
Her book, and I know her book's on sale on Amazon. It's like something of the Third Eye Matrix or something like that. I mean, but she wrote that book, wrote that book like in the late 70s or whatever. And she said she tried to like get George Lucas to look at her book or something. And, it was a lot of stuff, man. It's just, I was like, man, that's kind of sad if she, created something but you hear that story all the time that someone, hey, I came up with this idea and someone ripped it off or whatever. So
I was thinking of that movie with Greg Kinnear, man, and he made the intermittent wiper. It was like, I'm talking about where he was, fighting for the rights for the intermittent wiper that, you can basically have it delay and, the windshield wiper. And so, he created that and, basically they took it. A lot of the major car companies took it, and for years he was wrapped up in court cases and
all
that stuff, man. And finally, after he lost his wife and all this stuff, finally, dude won like patents for every one of the designs he made,
and they had to go back and pay him. But it cost him so much.
Yeah, but it's almost like if you just be right with people. They could have cut him off something. I mean, it's like, he created that idea. It's like they could have gave him something, man. And it could have been some naivety on his part as well. But still, man, like just why have to go back later, man, and pay this massive grip of for years and years and years of money that was never afforded to him. Now you gotta pay all that stuff because if you just was legit.
Well, is the family gonna come back now that you got all that paper?
She didn't, but I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I was like, it just cost you everything. But maybe when you finally get the money, you can be like Nino Brown and be like, I'll buy another one. Be like Nino, man. He'd be done with it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy another one.
Yeah, I think, man, he's just, like I said, he's holding to his convictions, man, and she just couldn't, it's too much heat, from the press. And
have you've seen that movie? Because it's what Greg Kinnear was in it. It was a great movie, man. I was like, that movie was deep, man.
It was like, I get it, fight for your ideals and fight for, people ripped you off and they're collecting on it and you get nothing, so I get it. And it's just like, but it's like one of the things like count the cost, for this. Are you willing to go through that? And if you are, by all means, at the end of the journey, man, you hopefully that it pans out, man. But that was it cost him a lot. I was just like, dang, But I'm just like, man, if they were just honored him and was legit up front with him, you know what I mean, and gave him what was due, you know, he wouldn't even have to go through that. But I mean, that's corporate for you. Like, that's nice, good idea. You know,
Super unknown. Here's some food for thought. Jar Jar Binks, the first fully CG character, will be 20 years old in 2 months. Man, where does the time go? Well, here's some more food for thought. Jar Jar Binks is actually more than 20 years old. And I say that because it took over 2 years worth of production to actually bring the Phantom Menace to the screen. That, you know, especially when you watch the little documentary, if you've got the DVDs, all the stuff that they had to do. Yeah, all the stuff that they had to do to bring the production of the Phantom Menace. I still think I think George is a genius, but I also think George probably should have brought in another screenwriter to kind of help him polish some of the things. Because you're gonna get I mean, people were even criticizing Return of the Jedi, which I love, but the best one to me is Empire Strikes Back. That was just
that was actually well, I was a fan of Return of the Jedi, man, just because where Luke evolved. But I think the story of Return of Empire Strikes Back was kind of like the I guess is a magnum opus of the series, man. It was like that was like everybody was hitting on all cylinders. You know what I mean? You had Luke, you had the lightsaber battles, you had the conflict of him and Vader, and you had the big reveal of him being the father, and you're like, oh my God, So I mean, and then the Hoth, the battle in the snow, and stuff like that. So I mean, Empire Strikes Back was probably, and arguably, probably many would agree with you too, the best of the three.
But
of the original trilogy.
But I would also say, if you look at some of the history behind Empire Strikes Back with was the guy Irvin Kershner, who had actually been George's teacher when he was in college. When he was in his film studies or whatever, that guy had his professor, and so he trusted him. So he didn't stand over his shoulder and let him, when they added the updated special effects and everything to the new movies, if you notice, Empire Strikes Back had the least amount of tampering done with it, because George was like, he respected Irvin Kershner so much that,
that's awesome.
He barely messed with it. So.
It was already. I said, I think all the actors, man, were literally at their pinnacle. You know what I mean? In that movie.
I read something this morning. I agree. Mike Parlett, the Cloud City ads were great. That's what I'm saying. They were but when they did the new special edition updates, the one with the least amount of special effects was Empire Strikes Back. They added several special effects to Star Wars, A New Hope, and then they added some tweaks here and there and cleaned some things up in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And then, added that ending where they changed the music. What did you think about that when they changed to the new?
I like the original music.
Yeah, man. I just thought they should have just left the yub yub or whatever.
Yeah,
just leave it, man. Why do all that? I was just like, you thought it was a good idea at the time. You can't go back in time and change it, man. So,
I actually didn't like the fact that they used the young Anakin either. I thought they should have used the older guy.
Yeah, because now listen to I've got, like I said, I've got all 6 of the I've got the prequels, and they had a little box set, and all 6 movies have director's commentary on it.
Okay.
So, and I thought that was cool, and a few of them have the actors on there. George Lucas is on all of them. Irvin Kershner does the director's commentary on Empire Strikes Back, but George Lucas is in there as well.
Okay.
And I thought that was great. But when you hear him talk about why they changed, like why did they decide to use Hayden Christensen and get rid of the actor that actually played Anakin in Return of the Jedi, they was like, well, when he died, he was frozen in the Force. So when he was redeemed, he became the guy that he was when he died, and he was still a young man. I was like, good, that's bullshit.
Well, then what happened to Obi-Wan then?
Yeah, exactly. Obi-Wan died when he was an old man, though. Obi-Wan did die as an old man.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, I mean, if the Force brings you back in your prime state, he should be back to where he was back in Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, well, and not to mention, okay, let's go back. When Vader was redeemed and he became good Vader again, he was still alive for a few minutes. So so I was like, that's why I was like, George, I was like, okay, you just walked yourself into this weird corner, dude. You probably should have just, what's the guy? I think his name was Sebastian Shaw that played Anakin Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. And
his name was actually Sebastian Shaw.
I thought
that's crazy. That's like the comic book dude.
Like that's what I'm saying. Now I'm looking. I'm gonna look because I thought that was his name, but
because that's the Hellfire Club leader. Sebastian Shaw was his name.
Yeah. Let me look it up. Let me see.
Yeah, that's definitely a continuity discrepancy.
Yeah, and I didn't agree with that, but at the same point in time, I always laugh when it's like someone trying. And I've gotten this as we've gone along and been doing the book. People sending me DMs telling me, I thought your character pitch was interesting, but I think you should change this or you should do this. And I'm like, dude, create your own story. Brand is mine. And so Star Wars is George Lucas's. So I understood that.
My book, I made it.
So I'm sitting there going, you weren't with me when I created everything. So that's the one thing I've noticed about society. I feel like the internet has made people, we've lost a lot of social graces that we normally would have. And I'm saying if you wouldn't say it to that person's face,
don't say it online.
Yeah, and it's just like, God, man, it's like
tough talk, text talk, text talk. Yeah,
it's just but I mean, the stuff that has come into my DMs, man, it is
I can only imagine, brother.
Oh man, I got his right. His name is Sebastian Shaw from Return of the Jedi. I looked it up.
That's cool.
And I was just like, yeah, his name's Sebastian Shaw. And but I thought that was a disservice to him.
Me too, man. I was just like, Hayden, okay as Anakin, but I mean, honestly, you could have swapped anybody in that role, kind of thing, man. I mean, same thing with the older guy because he didn't literally show up until the end. I mean, James Earl Jones was basically Vader, but I just think keeping the vintage. You know what I'm saying? Everything was, you had the original actor for Obi-Wan, the original actor who did, the voice for, I guess, Yoda. And then, also, like you said, the original actor for Vader. It's the stuff that's the stuff that's supposed to stand the test of time kind of thing,
Right.
And, I get it. But then Obi-Wan should have been Ewan McGregor.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm actually curious about that because what was it last year? They said that number one, it was a couple months ago they said that George Lucas was brought in to help J.J. Abrams fix the screw up. So I hope that's cool. And they just put a story out yesterday claiming that there's a secret Luke Skywalker Commander Snoke or whatever battle.
Really?
Yeah, there's going to be a battle, Snoke versus Skywalker or something. And they also did a video revealing quote unquote the new name of episode 9, which is supposed to be Skywalker's. I don't know if that's the case or not because that's such a bland name.
And like the subtitle, that's gonna be Skywalkers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Star Wars Episode 9 Skywalkers. That came off of Ain't It Cool News, which actually we might be doing an interview with them. I emailed, me and her have been emailing, and I sent her some stuff. So she even though I was kind of critical of the Ain't It Cool News site, she was actually she saw the video. She saw the video and she came on YouTube and she commented and she said, "Hey, send me an email and send me some information about your comic." And she wrote me back a couple days ago, and she was talking about she'll do a write up on it. And so I was like, that's cool, man. So dude, that's the thing, man. People be talking all this stuff about the books and there's so many people that are in your DMs and they be like, "Hey man, can you help me get on Ethan? Can you do," like, man, you got to do some work. Seriously. And I understand why Ethan's kind of pulled back on some of this stuff, because he feels like people just automatically feel like they're entitled to come on his channel and stuff. And a lot of people, their books aren't ready, if I'm being honest about it. They just don't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they just don't. That's just the truth.
They see they see what, the Mike's and John's and, and Mitch's and, Ethan's have done, with the six figures thing. They're like, oh my God, it is possible. And that's a benefit and the excitement of it, to let you know, yes, it is possible to do, what they've done. They've established a model, and it works, but at the same time, especially in the case of Ethan, and in the case of Ethan, his artwork speaks for itself. There's a reason why it's six figures.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's kind of crazy, because when you go back and you look at like the old Cyberfrog stuff and you see Ethan's stuff now,
man,
he is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, man.
And I thought his stuff looked cool 20 years ago.
Yeah. So you see the Cyberfrog now to then.
Yeah, I was like, but you see that stuff now?
Yeah, bro.
Oh my God, it's on another level, because Ethan was like, yeah, I was doing more of a cartoony type style. And also, but that translated well with him getting the job on Impulse when he when he went over to DC, and that was one of the first books he worked on over there, was Impulse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had gotten, I think they had let him do some fill-ins on some other stuff, and then he actually got put on a monthly title, and that was Impulse.
So, I'm gonna have to ask him what he did to transition to the style he is now. Like you said, because it was more of a cartoon style, and I remember the early Impulse stuff. I wonder what he did, or who he looked at, or he just experimented to get to the point where, what I'm saying, he added more realism, and I'm saying, I wonder what the transition was, what his thinking process, where he's just like, I'm gonna try something different, and Ethan, it probably was that, like, I'm gonna do this different. But I'm just curious, man. That'd be something to kind of pick his head on, just from an artist perspective.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well, because he talked about like the first time he teamed up with Jeff Johns, which was, I think, Flash Iron Heights, and so they did Flash Iron Heights, and he was like, I was getting there, but I wasn't quite ready yet.
Yeah.
And you go into like a Green Lantern Rebirth.
Yeah, dude, that was like his. Yeah. he talking about somebody hitting their stride, dude. Man.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, they do Flash Rebirth, and I was just
that book actually made me a lifelong fan of Green Lantern, and I say that every time I see him on it's on stream, man. But and legitimately, like I was not really into Green Lantern. I guess I didn't really know about the 80s, man. You see a little bit here and there, but I was, predominantly Superman. That's still, still am. Still a loyal fan of Superman. But Green Lantern became my second favorite. And it was just like, dude, like the way he would do, like I asked him, I was like, were you the first one? And I think you heard me online on stream too. I was like, were you the one that actually started creating Green Lantern with the symbol that hovered, like over the chest plate.
Yeah, I always thought that was dope. That's a nice.
I was like, dang. He was like, yeah, that was. I was like, dude, that set it apart, man. And then I think he's the one that he put that glow, like real thin edge around Green Lantern, like so you knew he was like actually using his power set, like the little green, I guess you can stroke or outline around him, and just like everything was so like in your face, and then of course the power signature, like when he would use the power of the ring, dude, and the way the flames and energy came off of it, it's like you could tell, like you could feel, the character forcing his will into the ring. I was like, dude, that's crazy. And so, it was just inevitable, man, that, his lightning would strike twice, man, when he did Flash Rebirth. Because that, to me, put Flash on the map even more. Bringing Barry Allen back, and what an honor to be the one to actually bring back Barry Allen, who had been gone for what, 20 years or so.
But that was kind of, when you hear Ethan, that was kind of done for selfish reasons. They didn't grow up with Wally West; they grew up with Barry. So
right.
they were like, yeah, let's bring Barry back. That's what, because a lot of people would like Mark Waid. Say what you want. I keep saying this, even though I don't particularly like Mark Waid as a person, his personality is a little jilted now. He wrote some stuff that I still think are like fundamental reads. You just like, obviously Kingdom Come. I thought his run on Flash, that character was dying, and the stuff he did with, because they kept going through different writers and stuff. Also, I mean, he just really changed the way we thought about the Speed Force, and like Mark Waid did some really smart things with Wally West.
Yeah.
And it was great. And he made a lot of fans love Wally. They were like, Barry who?
Yep. Well, like you said, a lot of the kids, man, coming up didn't have Barry Allen.
Okay, let me show you how big of an influence Mark Waid had on Flash. That there's a lot of Mark Waid haters, but let me just break it down like this. Everybody likes the Justice League cartoon. Anybody notice that they used Wally West and not Barry Allen as the Flash on that?
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because I mean that's what he did in the book.
If it sucked, they would have just go, oh, let's bring Barry back for the cartoon. Yeah. No, but they used Wally because Wally, that character was dying.
It's really weird though. Again, it's like this parallel. They bring, I don't know what it is about Wally West that they always kill him.
Yeah,
it's like,
but they kill Barry a few times too.
Yeah, but it's like Wally is like always on the chopping block though. It was like even in Young Justice, he was slower than everybody else. I was like, dang, like he was significantly slower than Barry and Impulse.
Yeah,
which shouldn't have been the case. As a matter of fact, he should have been the fastest. I was like,
that was something Jeff had a deference to Barry, so he had to.
He played Wally.
He shit on Wally to build Barry up, because they had it where not only Wally was the fast, he was able to draw the Speed Force from other speed. He had so many powers. He should have been way more powerful than and then they're like, oh, never mind.
But see, that didn't just stop after that. Like, look at Rebirth. They're about to kill him again.
Yeah.
I was like,
the hero
like, what is up with Wally? Like, nobody likes Wally West. I'm like, dang, man, like he's like the champion speedster, man. Y'all about to kill him again? Like, dang. So I don't know.
Saggy Bones, thanks for the super chat. I don't see a question there, but thanks for the little tip.
Much received.
Yeah, I will take that. Thank you, sir.
But yeah, man, I just wondering, somebody just, it's like Jason Todd, that, I always laugh every time I figure out, I was telling my kids, man, I said, you know how Jason Todd ended up dying, right? I was like, they were like, what? I said he was basically voted off the island. So people hated Jason Todd's character. It was like killing. I was like, dang. And then like a little straw poll, and back at the DC magazine, should he live or die? And the general consensus was like killing.
Okay, let me see. Dave T. Geek, I heard Kingdom Come was all Ross's story, and then Mark Waid just came in with dialogue. Now that is true. That is the way I was told about that, was that Alex Ross, he left Marvel and came over to DC. They wanted to do a big story. He had teamed with Kurt Busiek, and they did Marvels together, which was amazing. It's still, they're still selling Marvels to this day. It's an incredible story. And they wanted to replicate the success that Marvel had, and they offered Alex Ross a shit ton of money to come over and do this book. And he was like, I have an idea for a story that I want to do. And this story, but Alex Ross cannot write. So,
he had enough sense to know that,
Yeah. But this is the thing. You look at I think he did 6 stories with Paul Dini, which are breathtakingly. I've got a big, thick trade paperback that's got all 6 of them. Batman War on Crime, Superman, and there was Shazam, The Power of Hope. It was like, him and Paul Dini together were incredible. But that's the thing, Alex Ross. That's one thing about you. You say this all the time. I stay in my lane. I'm the artist, you the writer, and I like that. I like that. But apparently, Alex had the idea for the story, or at least how he wanted it to go. Now, but I've seen there are screenshots and passages of Mark Waid's script online. He basically, pitched the story to DC, and they brought Mark Waid in to help him flesh it out. A lot of people say that about the Kingdom Come book, so that they can dismiss Mark Waid's contribution to the story. Because I promise you, if Kingdom Come looked as beautiful as it looks now, but
the story was garbage,
it would be like a lot of those old Image books that I collected.
Yeah,
where
it's cringeworthy. But see, that's the thing, man. And I say it's a team effort. And between the writer, and it should be like a symbiotic flow, man, between the writer and the artist, man. And anytime one gets high strung or whatever, man, there's always issues. Like, do what you do, and let them do what they do, and then bring it together, man, and make something dope. You always hear about people leaving the book over creative differences, and a lot of times it's because the writer sees stuff different than the artist, and either one would not, depending on who it is, isn't willing to give, compromise on anything. It's just like, nope, it's either my way or no way. It's like, man, you can't create something unique and fresh if you're closed to new ideas, and at the same time, you can't have ideas that are so far off that nobody can relate. It's like, yeah, you can relate to it in your mind, but if you don't have the sense enough to put it in the comprehensive way, get somebody that does. The way that you draw, people write that way. You know what I mean? The way that somebody is a colorist or whatever, writers have a flair and a style and a vibe as well. And so let them create, man. Like it's enough. There's enough of the pie for everybody, kind of thing. So I just I think that should be like the focus, man, with the creative teams. Just let them create. Let each of them do what you do. And watch the magic happen. And when you do have that, when you have that synergy take place, man, that's when you get stuff like Kingdom Come and stuff like to me, I really enjoyed like Civil War, Marvel's story arc. I think that was probably one of the best story arcs they've had, in recent years. It was ingenious how they pit hero against hero and stuff like that. and, centered it around, an event, man, to the point where you even have fans choosing side, Team Cap or Team Iron Man, kind of thing. And I think that's a sign of a solid team, and definitely having more of that is
But
vital.
see, yeah, that's exact. Yeah, yeah. You look at, but that's my thing. When you look at Kingdom Come, or it's beautifully illustrated and everything, but but it has great dialogue too.
Yep.
It really is very well written.
Yep.
And even I've seen like Alex Ross be like, well, yeah, you just put some words there. I did everything. And I'm like, it was my idea. And I was like, yeah, but dude, I'm telling you, you just let like some little crappy hack writer take that view, and nobody would still be talking about the story 25 years from now.
It's almost like the whole, your art can be amazing, but if you have a bad anchor, oh man, it's like it destroys it. It's like, that everybody takes the hit, kind of thing. But when you have, like you said, a person, they call them embellishers, people that are finishers, they call them finishers, and then people that just ink. When you have a finisher, that means you know how to draw. And as an artist yourself, you take that page and you make that thing shine. You make that thing pop, man. You're not just tracing, but you're adding, your elements to it. And I believe writing is the exact same way, man. You have, like I said, and you can write anything. You can write something. But when you done reading it, man, and you're in your feelings, like, oh my gosh, like, dang, like this, man, I mean, that's how I felt with like the death of Superman. I was like, if anybody, and I've said it before, if you're a writer of Superman, or you get the job or the privilege to ever write that character, and you need a reference on how to make Superman carry himself as far as a character, read the death of Superman, because that to me was like the epitome and the poster and the definition of the nature of what and who Superman is. I mean, it was so well done, like from start to finish, dude. It's like, that is Superman. And so it's like, but that's because, you had amazing writers, along with artists working as a cohesive unit, man. If one person was just all about trying to get their little piece and trying to be, shine in the sun, man, it wouldn't go down as a good book. Same thing with Batman and Greg Capullo and, Scott Snyder, their chemistry, together, Court of Owls and all the things that they brought out, do like some amazing story arcs for Batman that are legendary now. You're like, oh my gosh. Same thing with Alan Moore and the artist of The Watchmen. They took superheroes in a whole new, gritty, mature way, man. And you're like, oh my gosh, like you couldn't put it down. You know what I mean? You can read it fast enough, or it's like, I just want to read it again and again and again. So
yeah.
It's like, man, it's crucial that you have the right team, and not just the right team, man, but everybody knows their role. Like we do that. We had a conversation today, about a certain design, even the page I'm working on. I gave my feedback, you gave you gave your feedback. But I understand that I am the artist, and if my suggestions hinder the story, back off of it. Don't try to sell your point. It's like, dude, if the story isn't flowing, it may look cool to you. Like, oh man, but it'll look awesome if they were fighting for 17 pages. Like, okay, but we still have a story to tell.
Yeah, we got a story to tell. And
oh yeah, okay. So
well, I mean, that's the thing. You and I had an interesting conversation this morning as you were setting up some of the new layouts and everything. And I thought that was, you showed me a layout and I thought it was good, but it was kind of missing some of the things that we needed to set up what was going on.
Right.
But I mean, then you start looking at the script again, and you adjust it. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of times, those creative teams, when there is friction, it's because people, man, are unwilling to. I mean, you have to be malleable with each other, man. It's like it is truly a symbiotic connection, man, of artist and writer.
Absolutely.
It may sound like I'm getting all new age or extreme, man, but really, like if you want to put out a good story, I mean, I think of Kyle and Ethan.
Wow,
like,
yeah.
dude, I mean that is the definition of a cohesive team. Like Ethan's work, and
you know what?
to the fan base, I talk about Ethan, man. As inspiration, and make no mistake, man. I'm not blowing smoke and just because I know he'll probably listen to this stream, kind of thing. But no, like legit, from artist respect to artist respect. Like professionalism. You notices, recognizes professionalism, and Ethan is the I said it before. I told him too. He's the standard when I'm drawing. That is the standard of our art community that I'm looking to achieve.
Yeah. That's what I'm striving for.
He's the measuring. Him and Kyle, man. That's our measuring stick. And by the grace of God, dude, we got an amazing colorist that can do that.
Oh man, and that little panel I tweeted out this morning.
Yeah, man.
I was just so, when he gave me that, I was just like, oh my God.
Yep. Shout out to Ikari. If you watch the stream, bro, you're killing it, man. And I told you, multiple times. But I'm saying like Ethan's work alone speaks for itself. But then when you get somebody like Kyle on there and he adds his flair to it, like he posted that picture of I think it's Cyberfrog's pod rocketing through space and it passes the sun.
Yeah.
Bro. Did you see that?
Like,
man.
Because everything I see that they tweet out, I just get geeked out. But let's see, Mike Parlett says your window needs to move to the right, Caanan.
Oh, the one in the center?
Yeah.
Is it off?
It does look although
it is.
It's just slightly off because I mean you got the branches and stuff, which I like that effect, by the way.
Actually, and it's too big too from the reference I'm looking at. It needs to be a little smaller. Good eyes, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, because you're right, because that's the peak of the house. It needs to be in the center. So yeah, they're right. Yes, artist eyes in the audience. Appreciate it. Much love.
All right. Well, there you go.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a firm believer, man. And you can make everybody can make it work, man. Everybody can get, you can come to that conclusion, man, where everybody kind of gets what they're looking for. You know what I mean? And nobody's got monopoly on, and that's so constricting when you have, and it's so hard to work with somebody like that. When it's like they have no leeway or no room for any new ideas. They're just like, this is how it's got to be. You're like, well, we could do it like this. Yeah, but no, I want to do it. It's like, and I've had people that are like ultra sticklers, like I said, and it ain't just about holding to the story. It's like they don't want to relinquish no control. And it ain't just the writer either. Sometimes you got an artist, man, the writer be like, well, this is a story, and the artist is like, well, duly noted. However, I'm gonna draw what I want. It's like, like you can't do that.
But Caanan, isn't that what you did when you put that tattoo on Dawn?
No, I tested out the waters, and when I realized that it wasn't exactly what you wanted,
it was definitely.
I even said I would remove it. He was like, "No,
I appreciated that.
I wouldn't I don't care, Antonio. I think she should have a tattoo. As a matter of fact, it was like, yeah, I was pulling on her face. I wasn't like, I said, I'm not, like when I draw something, man, and it's kind of like an experiment or whatever, and and I just kind of took artistic license. I'm never married to it.
No, but I'm telling you, I became so obsessed and I was like, you would have been able to fry egg on my head when I saw it. Do you understand how irritated I got? And I was like, that's not Dawn. She does not have the tattoo that says Lucky on her stomach.
She's not a hussy.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we made it work, man. I mean,
no, but it works. Huge ass says that tattoo was too much. I think we found I'm satisfied with how the tattoo will mysteriously vanish. But we found a happy. I don't know. I look forward to Mr. White making it visually appealing. Now, Mike Parlett, I am very glad that you are in the chat because he said, "Don't worry about my mug too much in the book. If you have to kill me or whatever, real small, whatever. Excited to see it come together." We were actually discussing yourself and a few of the others who have. Mike is one of the fortunate few that have purchased the privilege of having Caanan White draw him within the pages of Brand, which is, of course, what we are drawing right now. It is, but yes, Mike, obviously we have your reference photos and you'll get your
just due.
Yeah, you will get your just due. But yeah, we've got ideas on where to place all you guys in. So,
and it will just be like, it won't only be just like background or cannon fodder, but you'll be in the mix.
Let me see. Mike says he's 6'2" and a 5XL squad. So yeah. But I mean, we got your photos. We got you, man. We got, we've got a lot of you guys that purchased that perk, which I think we have 8 of those right now. Might be, I think it's 8, but
I'll check the rest. I think I'll make sure I have all 8. I know I got a lot of them.
Oh no, I think everybody has reported in now because I was going crazy. I was like, why would you spend $100 and not, not contact me? Yeah, because I was like, and then but the one guy, it was taking me forever to get to him, and I was like, and then finally, he wrote me back. He was like, "Oh man," he said, "Yeah, I backed that a couple weeks ago. I actually forgot that I backed you for that." He just spent the money and didn't even think about it. And so I was like, "Dude, but send me those photos so we can make it happen."
Right.
And then he immediately sent me, which I forwarded right over to you. So
gotcha.
You have everything now. So I was like, that's why I was like, yeah, we're drafting pages, man. We don't have time for that. Flat Earth is real. Malin sent me. Flat Earth is real.
And in your own mind, yes, it's definitely real.
Oh no, Malin be making me believe. Malin. So I remember somebody we were on one chat and
don't get sucked into Malin's flat earthness.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, so we sold 7 of those. There was 20 total available, and we sold 7 of the perks to have you draw them into the cast of Brand.
Awesome.
Let me see. J. Sam Critius just got an email for a meeting with Warner Brothers for a Detective Dead pitch meeting. He says it's not an April Fool's joke. Well, then
excellent.
I wish Mr. Malpica the best of fortunes, and I hope his story gets picked up.
Absolutely.
There you go. So
that would be a good movie, though. That'd be a cool film.
That's good for him. So, Caanan did a variant cover for Detective Dead. So, which looks incredible, by the way.
Thank you. It's got to ink that bad boy. I think he was trying to find somebody to ink it, but I think I'm going to ink it, man, just because I'm more comfortable with my strokes and things like that. So just so it doesn't look any different than like that's not what I.
Well, yeah, and there was back in the day when Ethan's channel actually used to do comics related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's it was like it's called Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and he doesn't do comics on the channel. So
Not anymore. He does, but not like that. Mostly promotion and stuff,
but I mean, yeah, he promotes independent comics, but yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, he doesn't actually. Well, he'll do like a drawing session, but it's like one time lapse. He had one time lapse video in the last.
He does one like
4 months.
Yeah, it's like 6 months ago. I'm gonna draw Cyber Frog right quick. Boom. You know,
Right.
that's it. And he just does. You know, he's done at that point. But I will say, he did one where I think it was he had done a fill-in issue of Hawkman, and Jeff Johns was the writer on that. And so he was like, "Oh, cool! Anytime I get a chance to work with Hawkman, to work with Jeff Johns, I'll take that opportunity." So,
shoot, who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's I got on to Ethan a couple streams ago because he got to talking that he always is talking about what the artist brings versus what the writer brings and all that. He always and I told him, I said, dude, I said, you be shitting on writers all the time except Jeff Johns. Like he has the utmost respect for Jeff Johns. He talks about his collaborations with Jeff Johns are like the gold standard, but everybody else is like mediocre, subpar at best. And he feels like his artistic vision will drive the story, which I understand. He put some serious pencils on those pages.
Oh yeah.
And if he didn't, but man, there is something to be said about great writing. I'm talking about if you got great writing and great art, it's just as opposed to just great art.
It's money.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why Rebirth was such a success. Same thing with Flash Rebirth, Green Lantern Rebirth, and Flash. It was, I mean, Jeff Johns. I almost wish they let him remain in charge of the movies because maybe he could rebirth what he did. What he did. I mean, what he did for DC and the DC Rebirth was amazing, and it put things right. And I was just like, dude, like the way he fixed Superman, brought Batman back in the continuity. Same thing with Wonder Woman, and of course Wally West bringing him back. And I was just like, dude, like that's what I'm talking about, man. But yeah, I mean, everybody's needed, man. Everybody's part is necessary, and
I mean, they've got some hacks. Don't get me wrong. There's some definitely people that like I was never big into like Ron Mars's stuff or something like and although he created Kyle, but
see, I never was into Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, so
he's not, to me, he was never, which is, so I said I feel bad because he's a comic artist too. But I mean, Kyle Rayner was never actually I liked him as Ion, and I wish he stayed as Ion. I think he was cooler then. I think it kind of gave him more of an identity because, I was talking about this with my kids because, like I said, we watched Into the Spider-Verse finally for the first time over the weekend, and
I still haven't watched that.
Amazing movie, dude. Like Miles Morales, the way they portray Miles Morales was spot on and just exactly what this generation's Spider-Man should look like. I mean, he was dope, dude. I was just like, oh my gosh. And so having said that, I was saying that when you have a writer that doesn't necessarily know what to do with a character, you forget sometimes that character is a hero and a standalone on his own. And we were talking about in relation to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is not really my favorite because you put him amongst And so you have Spider-Man, and you put him next to Captain America. He's lost. It's like, I say, well, you put Spider-Man in the Avengers, he's the water boy. Go give me my coffee. But when you take him out of there, and you put him in his own universe, you're like, man, he is like really like a hero. Like, oh my gosh. And so I think, people like Jeff Johns, man, taking heroes that, were kind of so, and the way he repairs things and the way he creates things and makes that character larger than life, even amongst, and that's why, to DC's credit, talking about good writing. Here you have three very, very prominent figures: Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, icons in their own right, easily can hold, a series on their own. But yet in the way they interact together almost becomes a whole nother character in and of itself. That makes sense? Like when they're together, you no longer see just Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, you see the Trinity. It's like, and I think, man, that's a product of a person that understands the characters and knows how to write it in a way that everybody shines. And so, I mean, to your credit, man, like, people like Jeff Johns, man, are like money, so I can see why, he would say what he said about, Jeff Johns as opposed to other people. But, Jack, like I said, I think it has to do too with that connection with the artist and the writer, because, Snyder and Capullo are like that when it comes to Batman. They kind of have that same type of chemistry. Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's got a part, man. The writer, man. Like you said, you can't be you can have hack writing and good art, and then the story sucks. You can have hack artists and good writing, and the story's garbage. So you kind of need a balance of each. And sometimes, man, it's okay to take the time to actually find the right artist, the right fit. You know what I mean? And otherwise, man, it's like you make that one mistake, man, and it's like it's especially with our book, man, this is our first outing. This is everybody's first introduction to who David Craven is, and the world of the Cravens and the brand and stuff. So everything has to be money, as much as possible. So.
Oh man, you know what? I checked Critias's timeline, and I saw that he tweeted out that letter from Warner Brothers. And but I suspect, just based on some of the things being said in private,
yeah.
I was like,
it was April Fool's joke.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's great, man. Congratulations. And then I see certain things being said in private, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, he was saying it in the private chat too. So yes, he did. Yeah, April Fools. Yeah, he's letting it, because I was just like, yeah, he let us know in the private chat. I was like, okay, because I was actually, it's like, I ain't no hater, man. If you getting that bag, get it, man. That's why I was like, I keep telling people, if I'm not trying to step in the way of anyone else's success,
right?
Don't step in the way of mine either, though. But if you get that bag, if you getting it, if you find a way to get it, man, go on and get it, man. I ain't trying to stop you. I'm like, my man Pimpin' Ken said it best, baby. Don't down it, crown it. And so if you have a good idea, if you have a hustle, one thing it was kind of, I didn't know this. I didn't know too much about Detective Dead. He actually, Critias said he has like a shadow cape, kind of like what our character has.
Really?
Well, he's got like it sounds like his trench coat works the way David's trench coat works, in a way.
Oh, it's alive. It's sentient.
Well, he can he can pull things out of it or whatever. I don't know. He'd have to explain, because I know how Dave. I mean, obviously, we showed that page where all the swarm of bees is flying in David's coat and everything.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, he said that the other night when we were on stream with Ethan. I didn't know that. I was like, that's what David does. But I mean, yeah, it's probably, I just didn't want him to be having to carry 5 million trillion weapons and stuff, like, you know, he might need to pull out a big gun or something, and I want him to have like one of those big cable type guns or something, like, you know. I was like, hey, let me have him pull that out of his coat, you know.
Well, not to mention, man, the Requiem can do a lot of that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so it can be with pretty much whatever you need. But, you know, it's always good to have backup in your arsenal, you know, when need be.
Well, yeah, that, and there are limits. You know what I'm saying? Because the power's not unlimited. So one thing I would like to show is that in addition to using the Requiem, that David would use traditional weapons as well, because you can't just, you know.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Being used and now it would be sweet if you can actually combine that with regular tech as well to actually up the ante of a particular weapon's impact.
Yeah, like, so real guns, but maybe the metal is like made of the essence.
Yep.
You know, or something like that. You know, just like I said, we've got so many different things we've discussed. So
that's crazy.
So yeah, I'm excited. You know, I think we've got so many great ideas of things to do, and you know, we ain't even got to play with like Dark Santana and all of them yet. And so, oh man, I know you'll just kill all that.
I think that's the one character, man, that I know a lot of the fans are waiting to see is the evil Santa in action. Yeah, and he's gonna be brutal.
Yeah, he's definitely. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know why he popped in my head like that. He just seemed like, and it was always, I was trying to come up with a name, and Santana, you know, I was like, it's Santana. And then I was like, no, Dark Santana. And I was like, because it kind of sounds like Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and I just saw him so clear, you know, he was like this kind of really scruffy looking Santa with the skunk stripe down his beard and everything.
If you ever have that one artist do a cover for another brand book, that'd be hilarious. Does he has a stripe already in his beard?
Wait a minute, something's happened.
What?
I don't know. Something just took us out of it, and all of a sudden,
I'm not live anymore.
Yeah, and we're still live, but for whatever reason, on the thing, it's showing all of a sudden. Hold on, let me do that and put it back on. You turned your camera off or what?
No, I'm still on.
No, you're not showing. I don't know what's going on.
Let me see here. No, I haven't done anything. Give me a second.
Okay, let me refresh because maybe I'm wilding.
Hold on.
Sure. I've got it on you. And okay, hold on. Hold on.
Give me a second. I might have to go out and come back in.
All right. So
hold on a second. Be right back.
All right. Yeah, we having one of these weird boomer extreme. All right, so let's see what you guys talking about. Let's see. Yeah, boomer. Hangout failed. Tug is on in 20. Well, shout out to Tug. And that is Tug doing his Thug Fizzle. And I know he's got the Tug comic book. Let's see. Make sure the viewers have the red dot online. I'm getting like a weird red screen of death thing like that. Okay, let me put it back. Okay, Caanan is back. It's still showing live, but I don't know what's going on.
Did you refresh? I'm about to refresh too.
I'm about to refresh again because I don't know what is going on.
I'm back on YouTube.
Aha! Yes. Okay. Whew, man.
I don't know what happened.
That was crazy.
I didn't do anything.
I don't know. No, I didn't do anything either. Trust me. I try not to mess with this stuff. That's why I was like, that's why I was laughing. You know, you talking about I was having a Billy Tucci moment. And I was like, Billy, I'd be laughing. Billy was having technical difficulties, boy. I was like,
he was so hyped.
Yeah, like, no, like when
because I kept trying to talk. I was rolling.
Okay. No, because Ethan kind of talked about some of this stuff. They made a couple of mistakes. Number one, I get it. They're trying to build up their channel crowdfunding comics. But Billy already has a channel with like about 11 or 1,200 subscribers on it already. He already has a channel. And so having a big guest like Ethan Van Sciver, that's what like everybody has asked me why I haven't had. Ethan has told me multiple times he'll come on this channel. I'm trying to make sure that when I actually, and I am, well, first I was waiting till I got monetized. But you know, because I was like, it doesn't make any sense to have Ethan come on if I'm not gonna, you know, hopefully draw a big audience.
Right.
And, you know, maybe get some nice super chats and stuff like that. You know, if I'm going to have Ethan come on, I want it to be, and I actually want to build the channel up a little bit more before I have Ethan come on.
I got you.
But not to mention, you know, I just want to keep creating content and you know, and get more subscribers and stuff before I have, you know, like I said, you know, I've seen Ethan go on channels and they only got like 200 or 300 people on there. And I was like, the fuck was that? That's nothing. You know, it's like, yeah, you get a big audience, but you're not monetized. You're not making any money off of it. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So you got Billy's got a channel with over 1,000 subscribers. And then they put Ethan on his channel with only like 100 and something subscribers. And so you need Ethan to promote the fact that he's on your channel to even have an audience, because you don't have an audience.
Right.
So then they start to stream, and Ethan was giving good information, but it was all overcrowded by the fact that you got a bad echo. It was a horrible echo.
Yeah.
It was just horrible.
This is funny, man. Like, yeah, he's trying to talk, and they were just.
It was like, Ethan. So. What?
I know like that, man. But he was just so hyped, and he was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, and Ethan, and it was so funny because Ethan was saying, you know, Andrea was like texting him, going, "Dude, what? There's like 4 people watching, and we're 2 of them and stuff." And it was just, you know, they didn't have audience. So Ethan at the end, Ethan just pulled the plug and was like, "All right, just come over to my channel." You know, and that was the smarter play. You know, it's just, that's why, you know, I kind of, you know, John Malin said some stuff early when I was promoting, and you know,
so he actually went on Tucci's channel.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was a shit show though, because it could have been, because I thought I was actually hearing what Ethan was saying. He was giving some really good information, but like I said, it was so distracting because they were having technical difficulty. It was just, and there wasn't an audience there. Even in, you know, I was in the chat, and there was less than 200 people there. And so I'm sitting there going, okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you know, like I was promoting brand, and you know, and I started having everybody invite me on channel, and I was having people invite me on channel, and they got like 25 people. I was like, dude, you realize if I'm gonna sit there for an hour, I'm trying to pitch my book, and hopefully it will be seen and someone will buy, you know, a copy of my book.
Right.
If you've only got 25, 30, 100 subscribers, it's not really worth it to me.
I got
to go on your channel.
Yeah.
Because you don't have an audience. Yeah. And my time is valuable. If not valuable to you, it's valuable to me.
Right.
So that's what it is. So yeah, I stopped going on everything. And you notice when people have asked us to come on, and you notice there's been a few times where I go, hey, this guy's got a big channel. I need you to be available.
Right.
Why? Because it's a big platform. That's where we're trying to sell books.
Right.
I'm not going, hey, Antonio, big fan. I've got 75 subscribers. Let me come on. Come on my channel. And I'm like, it's just not, it's like you might be a nice guy, but you don't have an audience, and it's benefiting you to have me on. It's not benefiting me to go on. I hate to say that, but that's the truth.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is. And then not to knock, but it's just like I said in regard to selling of books and stuff. It's just the bigger the platform, the more eyes you have on what we're doing. So more exposure and whatnot. Yeah, I get it.
And no, dude, I remember there was a couple of those early interviews that I did when I was promoting brand. It was like half book, wheel travel. I was going, I hopped on dude's channel, and he probably had like 45 subscribers. And I hopped on his channel. And I was on that dude's channel for like about 3 hours, almost 2.5, 3 hours. It was I'm sitting there going, had me on, and there was another guy that was trying to sell. His book he couldn't fund his book. His book was not successful. And I was trying to promote the Kickstarter. I was hoping someone would, see it and all this kind of thing. And it just wasn't, and I went back, even a couple weeks later, and I watched, and I mean, his stream had only gotten like 12 views, and this thing had been up for like a month.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it's not. So I was like, okay. Yeah. They was like, well, people will watch it later. I was like, dude, because let me be clear. Even when you do a live stream, if you're a YouTube host, you need to go back into your live streams. You need to change your tags. You need to do things to help with your search algorithm so that those, even the live streams, will be seen at a later date.
Exactly.
So, after this stream is over, I would go in and I'll look at my tags and put more relevant things in to kind of draw in people to let them see what we're doing.
Right.
And that way you can get a few more views. But my God, man, a lot of people don't get that. And then the one guy, he, like I said, I went on his channel and I was there for like 2.5, almost 3 hours on his channel, and like nobody watched it. Like nobody watched it. And then like I said, we were still on the Kickstarter then. So at that point, flash forward a few weeks later, and now all of a sudden I'm like the brand new toy because Ethan Van Sciver has seen our project now, and he wanted, he started having me on. And then so the guy reaches back out to me. He was like, hey Antonio, I'd love to have you back on again when you come back on. And I was like, if I'm being honest, it's not really a benefit. So I was like, oh no, he hates me now, but it's okay. Because I was like, yeah, no, he hates my guts now. And it's okay. Everybody doesn't love Antonio, and I know that, but I was just being real with him because I was like, dude, I went on your channel. I was like, that is what it is, man. And he was trying to promote a book that he was trying to get funded, and it didn't work out. It was kind of, his book was not successful. So it was, his crowdfunding, he didn't even get, I think he only got like a couple thousand. I mean, if he even reached 1,000, he didn't do very well. And I saw him on, I remember I popped into another chat, and it was before I went on the air. I was just reading the chat, and for whatever reason, he started just talking a lot of shit about me for whatever reason. And I was laughing my ass off. I was just like, okay. I was like, but I understood because he got, and then and then he blocked me on Twitter. And it was so funny because I've never contacted that dude. I've never contacted him. I never tweeted at him. He blocked me. And all of our contacts were him contacting me.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, it's not me going, hey, Billy, what's going on? One was just like, so I was laughing. I was like, this dude, he got, I went on his channel and 5 people watched it. And then he wanted me to come back on because obviously at that point, once I started appearing on Ethan, people started following me on Twitter. People started following me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, hey, Antonio, let me come here. Let me have you back on. Dude, nobody watched it the last time. I gave you almost 3 hours of my time, and I'm not doing that again. Oh, okay. We block Antonio. I was like, that's so funny because I was like, I would never have, I was crying when I saw because I was like, wait a minute, that's the guy that like I said, he was talking shit about me on one of the other channels. I think it was in Mike's. I had been on Mike's channel or something. He was talking shit about me in the streaming, and then it was right before because like I said, Mike had sent the link, and I hadn't hopped on yet, and I was just reading the chat, and the guy was talking shit about me.
Right.
And I think Edwin had mentioned Brand, and the guy was like, "That guy Antonio's a dick." Blah 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 blah. I was like, okay. I was like, I know who that dude is. I was like, that guy had me laughing.
I know you.
I was like, yeah, you're the guy that's been promoting that crappy book, and yeah, I went on your channel for like 2.5 hours, and 3 people watched it. And then you wanted me to come back on, and I was like, no, dude, because it didn't, there's a reason I go on Ethan's channel, because when you go on Ethan's channel, you sell books.
Exactly.
I'm trying to sell books. I'm trying to find new customers.
Yep. At the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal, man. And, you get to interact with some different people.
We're trying to expand the brand. Yeah, we're trying to, Ethan talks about, the super chats and all that, and that's good,
right?
And now I want Ethan to get as many super chats as he can get, and I want to be able to promote my book, and and have as many readers read Brand as possible. That's my ultimate goal. So,
it's awesome. Yep, we're on our way, man.
But I thought that was so funny because, like I said, the dude he blocked me, not because we were arguing. I was like, we never had an argument. He invited me on once. I came on, and he invited me on again, and I said no. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm blocking you." And I thought that was hilarious. And I was just like, and I see him pop up on chats here and there and everything, and I was like, okay, dude, that's hilarious.
Ignore him.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
Because I was like, because I was never interacting with him anyway. So it was so funny to me because I was like, we never had an argument. So I said, the only reason you're blocking me is because I didn't come back on your channel again. So it's like, that's hilarious.
Spiteful.
Let's see.
Take a quick break real quick. Just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Stephen Flores, someone pledged for another original page a few hours ago. I see Antonio. Yeah, we I was like, no, we won't be getting each person that. Yeah, and that is one thing I will say. All of the backers that have bought the original pages, they are getting their own page, not a copy. I let Caanan know. Okay. I was sitting there going, Caanan, why is this thing wilding out? I was like, what the? I was like, there's a Negro on my screen. Why is this Negro on my screen?
I'll be right back.
I was like, okay. I was like, there's an unusual black man on my screen. And I don't know why, but hold on. Since Caanan's not actually here, let me actually put it on me while I run my mouth and interact with you nice folk that have showed up. But all the pages are they'll all be original pencils, and of course Caanan will they will be inked digitally by the very, very talented Mr. Caanan White, who is my brother, my dear friend. And let me see. And then see. Mike Parlay, we just need to borrow a couple of brown sugar. Don't be. Isn't that from Bad Boys? I was like, I remember when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence was like, we just need to borrow a cup of brown sugar. I thought that was hilarious. So so Let's see, 11 Yes, yeah, we sold 9. That's what I was saying. I was like, at least I got money for 9. And so yeah, I got money. Well, Kanan's got money for it as well because I had to shoot Caanan his cheese for giving these pages up. So, but yeah, I've been really excited about a lot of the things that we've had going on, a lot of the opportunities. You know, I was just talking about the possibility that we're going to get a little write up in Ain't It Cool News because the very nice young lady that is now the editor in chief, CEO, or whatever you want to call it over at Ain't It Cool, Dana Knowles, who is Harry Knowles' sister. She took over after he stepped down. You know, she apparently likes our book. So, yeah, so I was very happy to be interacting with her, and she's been very pleasant, and so I appreciate her. So hopefully she will give us a little feature for Brand, and we will get that little feature going. You know, because I'm trying to sell books, so I'm trying. You know, I want as many readers as possible, and would very much like to have. If I could get thousands of readers, that would be awesome. So let's see. Stephen Forex. Can't wait. Love original art. Will be framed and hung accordingly. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I've already got the covers. Let me see. I've got a couple of Brand covers already. I've got the Manasseh Johnson Brand cover hanging in my bedroom. I have a frame coming for Matthew Weldon's cover for Brand Way of the Gun. I will also have, let me see. Oh, yeah, I also have the Chris Bradbury Santana Baby cover. I have that one hanging in my bedroom, and that's a great cover. I thought he did a really good job on that, where he did the little cover swipe of Art Germ Stanley Lau. So I was really proud to have that one framed up. And then I will have Kanan's original cover for Brand, which I am very much looking forward to getting that. And not to mention Caanan did a very beautiful birthday present for me. So I was Kanan's birthday present is overwhelming when I look at how beautiful it is. It is just fantastic. I cannot tell you. So, you're gonna need a larger house, Antonio, to hang. I actually thought, you know, when Ethan's been doing some of these auctions, I thought about selling the coat. I hate to part with any of the art pieces that I've, you know, that I've had created, because I've got some great Jamie Biggs pieces. I have the Shelby Robertson art that's going to be the Santana trading card. I've got the Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda Dark Santana thing that Jamie Biggs did. You know, I've got the very first Lionel Solomon piece that was ever created, which was done by an artist named Thomas Mason, who's a colorist for like DC and Image and stuff like that. And he's colored a bunch of RT Bear stuff, but it is it's beautiful. So let me see. Work in progress. Show what he did. Okay. Well, you talking about Kanan's birthday present? I thought I tweeted that out. I thought everybody's seen that. I was like, let's see. Let me see. Can I find it? Because I haven't. Let's see if I can find it. I'm having boomer moments. Boomer stream. I tweeted it. Mr. White, are you back now? Is that what this is?
Yes, I am back, sir.
Well, okay. So work in progress is asking, let me put this thing back on you to see he wants to see the birthday present that you did for me. So I've got the screen on you. It should So will you please show them my birthday present? And I love you for doing this. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, give me a second.
All right, guys. So yeah. And we want to get this colored, but you haven't inked it yet. So
no, I haven't inked it, man. It's all.
But we've been rather busy, to be fair.
Yep.
And I definitely, don't want, because it's a very detailed piece. I wouldn't, we can wait on that. I just want to make sure, you know what I'm saying? Because we want to get the book done.
So, yeah, that's definitely priority.
And it's extensive. So yeah, we're gonna. But I am extremely, and when because Caanan told me he was doing something, and he said, "I got a little birthday present for you," and I was very thrilled. And there is so much there. That is, okay, so you got, this is everything that's in brand. So you look up right up at the top, you got, it literally tells the history all in one. And I thought you just did a phenomenal job there.
Thank
you got Horus and you got Penance, right there. And, you even did it. I like the choice because, you see Horus first.
Right.
So you see Horus first, and Horus was the first mask, so he should be first. Horus was there before Penance.
Right.
So, yeah, so you got Horus and Penance. And then you go down, and you got Dark Santana on the Horus side, which, again, great choice. And then you got Dawn right there.
Older Dawn.
Yeah, older Dawn. And, man, this is
super chat, bud. Yep.
Yeah, I see Trencher 1375. Happy birthday. A great job. Oh, this is amazing. Yes. And then you even see Charo. Look at Charo. That is Charo, who will be the queen of all queens. And Charo is going to be one of my favorite characters to work with in brand, because it's going to be, especially like when we get to Vegas and, when we're going to be using the bees and all this. There's just so much good stuff there.
And for those that's the requiem he has in his hand. It's form, right?
Yeah. It's definitely, it's the requiem and the whole thing. Everything. Dude, like Stephen 4X. Are you really not seeing it? Because it's showing on my screen. Oh, it's fine. Okay, I was like, wait a minute, it's showing on my screen. No, huge ass. Those are not the wasps from Cyberfrog. Those are bees. And those are bees. And not to mention, all the Vespas are huge. All the Vespas aren't tiny. All the bees at Everheart are small.
Yes.
So the Vespas are huge.
They're like people size.
Yeah, those things
and up. People size and up. And
it is weird that he actually he's calling it blood honey though, because I've talked, because me researching bees, when you do research on bees, you come up into some of the stuff about yellow jackets and wasps and stuff like that, and they don't actually make honey. They have this kind of milk that they feed their young and stuff.
Well, I think you gotta think of it. I think it's a play on words. They're not making honey, but the blood that they're secreting to basically create their structure.
Well, Ethan always says it's honey, though. He actually says it's honey made from blood. Bumblebees don't make honey.
Well, I thought maybe it was less like since they don't actually make honey, they make this blood honey, which is basically honey made from the human flesh.
No, seriously, like watch his video where he's talking about the Vespas. He's like, and they make honey to feed their young. And I was like, the wasps don't actually.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not that they're making honey, but it's blood honey. They have the ability to create honey.
They're making a substance that can feed their young, for sure,
based off of human flesh. So which is why like blood honey. But it's not actual bees honey.
But yeah, Steam 4X, they're not Earth bees though. But they're not Earth. They're not bees at all. They're wasps. By his own admission, Ethan admitted that
the Vespers are wasps. Yeah, I mean, they
the
look like
Vespers are
wasps.
wasps, and he used wasps, so they're not Earth wasps either. They're alien wasps. That's why they have the wasp nest. Their ships are wasp nests. So it's like, yeah, they did the whole thing. So I was like, I don't know. It's either way, I bought 3 copies of Cyberfrog Blood.
He said either way, I bought mine.
Yeah. Oh, did you get a copy?
No, I haven't yet. No, not yet.
Yeah, because I've backed all 3 of the campaigns. So every time he comes up, because I almost got the remark that first time, but I was like, but he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna draw a frog on there. I was like, I don't know if it's worth $50 to just draw a frog's head on there.
Hey, man, I mean,
I was like, but I do want to, I do want to have, it's like, so I do want to have. I am not triggered by Caanan and the bee honey thing. That is not true. But if they're not I mean, they're wasps. They're not bees by his own admission. So I mean, they look like kind of like hornets or yellow jackets. So I think he actually used a specific model of. I mean, he actually, because hell, he should know. He created everything. So when you ask him, he can actually tell you exactly what he used to reference.
Right.
So which he should be able to. He should be able to tell exactly what he used to reference. So
yeah, I'm sure he is. It almost looks like one of them. Almost like one of them exotic giant with yellow jacket moth, wasp thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the Japanese something.
Yeah, because I mean he had a specific model that he was telling us about. I remember he had a specific. I'm sure he's had this story for a while, because he even talked about it. He kind of had teased it in an old interview from like 10 years ago when he thought it was gonna, he thought Cyberfrog was gonna be over at Wildstorm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was he was, I guess he had done some jobs over there or something, and Cyberfrog was going to originally be over at Wildstorm, and then
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been interesting, but by his own admission, his skills have changed since then.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm curious. Things happen for a reason, because the Ethan, although again, because I still have my copy of Cyberfrog 1 that I actually bought. I didn't go on eBay 20 years later and get a copy of Cyberfrog.
You bought it when it was available.
Yeah, I bought it when it was available right then.
Yeah, so, I got you.
So that's what I'm saying. I knew who Ethan was before he was at DC.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So that's how down I am. A lot of people went on eBay, and it's like, ooh, this could be worth some money one day.
So I didn't know Ethan until Rebirth. And that's what but I never I guess saw him, I guess. It was always kind of like a little bit here and there, and like I think Wiz World magazine or something at the time.
Well, he started being in Wizard like every month, because I remember one time I watched, he was bragging about it. He was like, I was like on the Wizard top 10 list like 9 months in a row, which that's a feat. That is incredible, because like Todd McFarlane was on there pretty much every month. Todd McFarlane, it was like Todd McFarlane. It's like,
Jim Lee.
Especially like when they were doing when Jim Lee and Frank Miller were doing All-Star Batman.
Yeah.
Jim Lee was on there every month. It was like Jim Lee every month. So it was
funny, man. It's crazy that I remember I always loved the way Ethan did his version of Hal Jordan's Spectre. It's pretty dope. Before I think that was because that's where he was before Rebirth. He was a Spectre, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that whole story, man, was just like the other thing. I think I read that thing like cover to cover, man. I read it all the way through. I was like, this is dope. Like,
okay. So there's a question here. I saw that Work in Progress said that I actually wanted to answer. He said which mask goes with which characters. Okay, well, the thing is, okay.
So far, you've only seen 2.
Yeah, well, 3 if they've seen the Gaiman versus Dark Santana, because you see Gaiman's mask. Well,
Yeah,
but Gaiman's wearing it though.
That's not a clear shot though. You know,
no, it's not. It's not. Well, he's also on the
logo.
He's on the logo, but he's on the little bug that you see in the corner on your screen.
I guess it is.
And he's also on the Lionel Solomon piece that we did, which I think, what was it? I think the artist.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. It was an Amazing Spider-Man Craven cover that I had Thomas Mason change and make it Lionel Solomon and Gaiman.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a bunch of lions, and he took all the lions out and switched it into Reapers. So I thought that was a real cool. It is, but the thing about the mask and brand is they're very specific. You have red masks, you have black masks, and you have white masks, and they all have different abilities. The white masks are the masks of the Pakmaru cast of the Chosen. The white masks represent spiritual. It's supposed to be the Holy Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. And then the red masks are the masks of the Doba cast, and the Doba cast are about the body. They're about being able to enhance, your physical strength, speed, all your senses, those type of things. They'd be able to do incredible physical feats and, able to do that kind of thing, longer endurance, things like that. And then the Akamar cast would be the cast that have the black masks, and those would be shadow magic. They'd be able to, that's the mind. They'd be able to cast really detailed illusions and, just be able to, just a lot of things that you would need with, mental abilities. So that's supposed to be the different breakdowns of the mask. But Horus, David created Horus, and it's kind of like in Gremlins, where the guy gives him, those instructions, don't feed him after midnight and all those kind of things. You got the Mogwai, and they give you the instructions.
Right.
And David did not follow Gaiman's instructions.
Okay.
And so now, Caanan, I'm looking at your little thingy there. Now, you adjusted that little arch, but the door underneath kind of looks just a little though.
Oh, off?
Yeah, just a little. Just look at it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it might need to be adjusted a smidge to the right. It's a smidge. I might be wrong though.
I'll move the oh shoot. Let me see. I'll move the
it's just slightly off though. So it's like, I just noticed it though, but I mean, but that's the thing about non-digital. Like, you're doing this digitally, like non-digital, people, you just have to draft.
Erase it and start over.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, and you can just go and just ick it over just a little bit. So.
Actually, I just moved the window. It's enough that it doesn't look off. So it's still in line. So yeah, that was an easy fix.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. So let me see. So we got mind, body, and spirit. But yeah, Horus was David's first mask, and he made some mistakes, and Horus was able to become dominant, and he was able to kind of do his own thing as opposed to following David as his master. We won't have that problem with Penance. Penance actually has to obey David. He's a little sassy, but he can't actually turn against David. David can turn him off and on. David has complete control of Penance, although Penance is sentient and free will and all that, and doesn't want to betray David.
Right.
But at the same point in time,
he also has an opinion.
Yeah, he has an opinion, and I think whether it's his fault or not, David sometimes doesn't fully trust Penance because of what happened with Horus.
Yeah.
Because Horus stabbed him in the back and started working with Santana and things happened. David doesn't fully, David doesn't fully trust Penance. He's like, I know you're good and everything, and even though I know you can't really stab me in the back like Horace did, I still have that in the back of my mind. I was like, because he was created as a, as a replacement. So that's the thing. So I am.
He said he did some damage to the David.
Absolutely. And
people will see. We've kind of alluded to early, but they don't know that. Well, that'll probably be I won't say anything.
Right, so hold on. Let me see. We got some good questions in the chat. Let me see here. Okay. Stephen 4X, you could add a B design backpack to Antonio. Love the little touches. Well, if you've seen any of the preview pages, Dawn has a backpack that actually has Horace in it. And, I don't know. I got mad. This dude was like, hey, I see what Caanan did here. That's a smart idea. I was like, that was my idea. That was my idea. That was my idea. Am I lying? That was my idea to put Horace there.
It was.
It was. And I was like, but you get credit for every damn thing. It was like, Caanan's a damn genius. And I was like, he is a genius, but that was my idea.
I try,
And it was like, I was like, that's bullshit. That was my idea.
Labored all night.
Okay, so that was you. I was like, that was my idea. That was completely my idea. I was like, but that's the truth though. Caanan gets credit for you get credit. I be laughing when I come up with these ideas. I was like, I wanted to do this, and then you draw what I've told you to draw, and then everybody's just like, hey, screw Antonio. Caanan just did everything, and I was just like,
I will give you the credit for the weird and strange.
Oh, I do notice that, like the American Nightmare thing.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that was me. Of course it was me. That was me. All this stuff is the stuff that pops in my mind. That was like Horace is on the left of the pencil sketch. Horace is on the left. Yeah. You can always tell Horace has
Horace looked like a traditional mask.
Yeah,
like the traditional comedy mask.
Yeah, and that was the intention. It was supposed to be the drama mask, happy, sad, all that. That was what it was supposed to look like. But then, obviously, David would not want to make another mask that looks like that evil son of a bitch Horace that done all this foul stuff to him. Because when you see what Horace did to David, you will understand why David really doesn't like Horace.
Well, that's what I said. We alluded to it. But I won't tell everybody.
No, we're not gonna. Okay.
But they've actually seen it already, but they don't know that they've seen it.
Okay. So let me see here. Victor the Ripper. What are your drawing instructions? Do you say, okay, I want a tree in the foreground, a house in the back, or what? Are you asking that to me? Because I basically just I know when I'm telling him what I want to see on the page, I give him a basic idea of, this is the setting. We're kind of out we're in a secluded area. There's like a swamp. Because this particular page here is supposed to be like an old antebellum. We're in Louisiana. It's supposed to be like an old antebellum slave mansion. It's like a plantation. You'll see like little I don't know if you've actually started drawing some of that stuff, because I wanted to see if you could see the cabins and stuff yet. You haven't actually done that.
No, not yet. I'm working on everything around it so far.
Okay, because on the layout you can see they're just in blue though, but he's got the little cat. But these are things that I asked him to create.
There's cars on the lawn too, if you can see.
Yeah, you got cars on the lawn?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Well, they had to get there somehow. So I guess that makes sense. It should be like dirt buggies or something, because they out, like a lot of people like to go mudding out there in the country. They brought everybody there with like what they call them, ATVs or whatever.
Right. I mean, it could. I just figured, man, that they were like buyers.
No. Do what you do, but I was like, throw some ATVs in there or something. It was like, I thought it would be just to be funny. I don't know. But either way, I generally trust your judgment, and then, like I said, you normally show me like a little preview, and then if there's some adjustments, we need to tweak them, and that seems to work with what we're doing. Let me see here. But that's me. I tell him, okay, we're at the airport and this is happening, blah, blah, blah. And then he normally does research to get some photo reference and do whatever he needs to do. Specifically, like what was the page with David out in the bee yard, actually tending to his bees and stuff.
Right.
Matter of fact, do you have one of those? I'd like to show. Some people may not have seen it.
The page?
Yeah. Show one of those pages because I sent it out. I sent a bunch of those pages out in previews, but I'd like to maybe so we can possibly dissect.
Okay, there we go. Let me see here.
My name is Luca. Let me see. Cashbox85. What's good, fellas? Always happy to catch you live. I know y'all focus on this book, but have you ever actually talked about doing a crossover with Cyberfraud? Not seriously. I mean, it'd be nice if Ethan would allow that, but I mean, he did allow he did allow me to sell the design that Caanan did for the Cyberfrog
T-shirt.
Yeah, the Cyberfrog. Yeah, we sold a bunch of those. So appreciate those. Those are on Amazon, and if anybody's interested, you can get it on Amazon or you can get it on the TeePublic store. And the link, of course, is in the description on this video. If anyone is interested in getting Caanan's very lovely brand Cyberfraud or the Lady Alchemy things, but it's sold a couple of those when I was on Ethan's channel the other day. So we had a couple people go in. And
that was fun.
Yeah, that's a
Icarus killed it.
Yeah, dude, man. But I like how you tweaked how the bow works because that was more in line with what I was thinking.
Right.
So yeah, I really enjoyed what you did there. But now zoom in on some of those hives and stuff because I think that's great. These are Langstroth hives, and which is pretty much what a lot of modern beekeepers. There's a couple of different type hive, but most modern professional beekeeper or hobby beekeepers, they use Langstroth hives because they're just so easy to work with. They got supers, deeps, and nukes, and all these different sizes. And that's one thing. Randy, 628 Dirt Rooster, I showed him a lot of these pages because I wanted to make sure we were being kind of accurate. And he was just like, "You got some dupe?" He said, "You got some halves, some supers, some dupe." And I was like, he's like, "You got deeps?" He was using all the little beekeeping
terminology, right?
Yeah, he was using all of it. He's got like 80, 100 hives or whatever, on his property. And I know his brother and his dad keep bees. They got hundreds of beehives. They've been doing this for years. So
right.
Yeah, so he's just got all this. I mean, and like I said, this is great, man. You got the little bee tool because he was asking all kind of questions about like the little bee tool because I was like, yeah, because I know when I sent it to you, it was just a little bee tool thing because I noticed in that one top panel you actually have the bee tool like hanging on the box as you're pulling the thing out there, and I think you got it right there, and you can find that on Amazon. They've got those little tools on Amazon just like that.
Yep.
And I thought that was really cool, man. I was like, yeah, it was great. And I've talked to Icarus about how I want these pages colored because I've noticed a lot of beekeepers, they'll have the hives and all the different boxes will be colored. Like the front of the box will be colored for that hive will be red, and then the next one it'll be pink, and then the other one will be purple because when the bees come out, they imprint on that color. So when they come back to the hive, they're like, oh, there's the red one, and they'll go back to the one that they, and they also like one will be facing front, and the other one will be facing forward. It's like, they'll have them like, the entrance of one will be backwards, and the other one will be front. That way, when the bee goes out one way and stuff, and that way kind of because sometimes bees get lost and they end up going into the wrong hive, and the other bees won't recognize them and they'll kill them and stuff like that.
Right?
They'll be like, you don't belong around here. I'm a crip, that kind of thing. So, that can happen. A bee can get killed because he'll go to the wrong hive. He'll get lost or something. So, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. Let's see. Working probably. You should come up with a comic like Caanan White did. He is a genius. Let's see.
They're just speaking their mind, Antonio. Let's
see. Stephen Forrest, you need to sneak a 628 in there somewhere on one of the hives. Well, I don't. I'm actually sneaking Randy. Randy's going to be on, I think, 2 of the last pages in the book. I think he's in 2 of the pages. In the very last scene, after everything's over and David returns to Everhard at the end of the book, he runs into Randy, who's not going to be Randy. He's going to be another character, but but he's Randy will be in the book a couple times. So yeah, so the 628 Dirt Rooster, he let me do the intro on his channel, and he's real cool, and so I was like, I still love that. That video he got, it's got like 12,000 views on his channel, and I love it. It's like, I'm Antonio Bryce, author of the hit comic book series Brand, and you're watching the 628 Dirt Rooster channel, where hobby beekeeping is a way of life. There you go. Yeah. There you go, man.
Yeah, it sounded good, man. And
oh, dude, I did it. I had to cut it like 3 or 4 times. It was like I kept messing up, and I wanted to make sure like I was standing in a way where like some of the artwork would be in the background or something,
Right.
And so I cut it the first time I sent it to him, and then he had gotten his new Dirt Rooster merch in, which looks fantastic. He sent me a great hat. The hat he sent me was, I know them hats are not cheap. He is not shilling cheap t-shirts and cheap merch. I actually want to get one of his t-shirts too. And I talked to him about he said, I got to send you some honey. So, because I know me and you were talking about this, but I would like to get some honey from the Dirt Rooster. He's got so much of it.
Awesome.
And it's straight up, harvested raw honey. It's not processed, it's raw honey. So,
right.
Oh man, my mom got raw honey a couple times when I was a kid. We used to have actual farmers market. Well, we still have farmers markets around here, but you used to actually see farmers on the side of the road hustling, back in the day.
Right.
Maybe out there selling watermelons, cantaloupes, peaches, apples,
water.
Yeah. So I miss all that stuff, man. That's that's good. Let's see. Jose Sousa says, "Damn, you have talent." Caanan's a hack. Please do not make him think that he is actually a talented artist, because
if you guys hear something on the other end, it's just static. Just listen to the sound of my voice.
Yeah. Yes. Work in progress. I love Caanan's new comic book brand. I love his comic book brand. Well,
yeah, my comic book brand that I wrote.
Caanan owns part of Brand, so it is Caanan's comic. That's the thing. He's not just the artist on it. He is part owner of Brand, and hopefully one day I will sell it to Hollywood, and Caanan and I will get very nice checks.
Very generous of you, sir. Very generous.
Yeah. Well, I felt like you brought so much that you weren't just an artist on it, because you really helped to shape a lot of the ideas and made me see some of the things in a different way. So I felt like it was important to recognize that. So wanted to do it.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I am the honor is definitely all mine, man. Just being able to work on this project, man, is it's new. Get to try out some new stuff, man, and revisit some old stuff, and so it's I'm just glad to be doing it, man. It's
Ooh, man, I got so many stories for us to tell though, man, because I was like, get through this one, do 8 Crazy Nights, which, oh man, I would love to do. I can't wait to do 8 Crazy Nights, and get 8 Crazy Nights done, and then like flip on over into
Way of the Gun.
It's just Well, no,
Way of the Gun next. Yeah, come next.
Yeah, Way of the Gun, because it's actually in Way of the Gun is actually, I guess it should be the chapter name, because the actual it's all going to be one story like that. I know how the beginning, middle, of the end, it's like we start here with Dawn, we'll end. I know exactly how the last page of the book should look.
Gotcha.
Which I think I've told you about how it should look, but I know how that last sequence is. I know where it ends. I know a lot of this stuff. So then, because by the end of our complete story, they will have gone to Vegas. Dawn will be pregnant, which is, Dawn will be pregnant, and that is it. Retrographic Books is Way of the Gun named after EBS's Batman book. That is called Trail of the Gun. It's Batman, Catwoman, Trail of the Gun, which was written by the very lovely Ann Nocenti, who was very gracious with her time and gave me an hour of her time to sit down and chop it up about her comics, even though she kept going, that was 30 years ago, dude. Everybody laughs about that, man. It was, everybody laughs about that because I'd be like, so you created Typhoid Mary on Daredevil. Yeah, dude, that was 30 years ago. I was like, yeah, but you're here because you're Ann Nocenti. It's not like she's suffering from Alzheimer's. So that's why I want to ask her. I want to say, okay, you created Typhoid Mary. Why did you create Typhoid? Which she kind of mentioned that I think, if I'm not, I have to go back and watch it, but she kind of said that she thinks John Romita Jr. based the design on a girlfriend he was dating at the time, which that's interesting because Typhoid Mary was insane. But that was man, her run on Daredevil, which was like almost 5 years. She definitely put a stamp on Daredevil. A lot of people talk about Frank Miller's run. That could not have been easy to take over Daredevil after someone like Frank Miller had put such a definitive stamp on it. So, but no, Way of the Gun. I love EVS though, but no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. And so that's what it is. Yeah, man. I love watching you draw. This is beautiful. This is fantastic, sir.
It's coming together, man. It's coming together.
It's like, I must tell you, I am such a huge fan of yours.
Thank you. Like it was like everything like it.
That's right. Way of the Gun was that movie where Sarah Silverman gets punched in the face. Oh, it's like, man, I haven't seen it. I know Benicio del Toro's in it, and and Ryan Phillippe. I remember when they were still trying to make him a star. And, it doesn't work. It's the same with Freddie Prinze Jr. He had a run where they were trying to put him in every damn thing and trying to make him a star, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, and they just, I guess Freddie Prinze just didn't have I don't think he ever took to people. He was just kind of like, he was like an awkward Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. That kind of deal. And I mean, that's the thing,
Worked for Keanu because, that's him. He's Keanu. But
by the way, I never asked you, did you see the video with him and I can't remember the other guy that plays
Bill Esquire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but man. The fact that they're going to be shooting Bill and Ted 3 this summer, I think that is fucking cool, man. I love that. I'm going to be there.
And together we are the
Wild Stallions. I cannot wait. It's a shame that George Carlin is no longer with us.
Yeah, he was the guy in the booth, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. They couldn't get him back or whatever. Something happened in the second Bill and Ted, and they had to fake it. They had to fake like he was there or something. They had to use they had to do a Back to the Future 2 on him.
Okay.
Because that dude from Back to the Future, he got all pissed off at the movie theater and stuff, and or the movie company, and they kind of put somebody in some makeup and pretended like it was him, and then used his image. He actually sued, and they actually had to. He only got like $200,000. He didn't get very much money. He sued him for a couple $1 million, and they settled, and he only got like 100-some thousand or whatever. But it set a precedent now. They can't just use actors' likeness like that now. They have to, you have to pay that person. So Crispin Glover, Cecil, hey buddy, how you doing?
Hello.
I was like, hello. Did you draw? Were you on that drawing? You weren't on the drawing report. It was like we need to see a Cecil. We need to see a Caanan Cecil. That would be funny. And so,
how's it going, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Cecil. I was like, love you, buddy. You're awesome. Cecil's awesome, and Cecil went out on faith and backed us many moons ago when no one knew who the hell I was. And
much appreciated.
Yeah, he was. Because there was like a lot of people did not, it's like, I don't know y'all, man. I ain't backing this book. So we still got people. I still get messages, every couple weeks. And someone was like, you know what? I saw Brand like 6 months ago and I wasn't sure about it, but I finally decided to back you. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, it was just, so like I said, we've done pretty good. There's a lot of people that just haven't backed it, but they know about the book.
Right.
They know about the book. It's just they haven't pulled the trigger on it, or they was like, yeah. And I have seen people say, well, I don't particularly like those type of, like Caanan style. It's more like superhero style. I don't like those kind of books. Now, they wanted to look more like Mitch Breitweiser or something like that. And although I saw he sent out an update and he had a couple of pages. Looked like a lot of it was for the futurist. So I guess he's getting ready, getting everybody hyped up for the futurist. But he had some Red Rooster stuff. Yeah. What was that? What's that? Butch Goose or I can't say his like Goose. Juicy. But yeah. But that's the thing. Like I said, everybody doesn't like this more traditional. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, it's more like '90s style or whatever." But my thing, I always laugh because a lot of people, when they call themselves critiquing Caanan's work, they are not in the same level. I'm like, and I'm seeing what they're doing, and they're just not. If you aren't at that same level, it's different when I see someone like if someone like Ethan is like, Caanan, you drew this and I didn't like that and your perspective is off. And I'm like, I'm gonna listen to Ethan because I look at Ethan's art is just on another level.
Yeah,
and
he's definitely getting some good critiques too. So, but
it's a little different. Someone that's professional. He's been a professional for 26 years, and and it's different, man. It's like,
what kind of funny is like, I guess the only takeaway, I think, my style has, I guess, from the 90s would be just trying to make it entertaining, because I don't think I have a 90s style. It's elements of it, but it's definitely more of I would say 70s, 80s. Like the old, like, Alan Davis, a mixture of those, kind of those traditional, with the mixture of some of the guys from today, like Mike Perkins, Mike Diodato Jr., guys like that are kind of like the people that have influenced my style as of late, and especially Mike Perkins. And like I said, I have a whole PDF file, man, of his Stand series, and I reference that quite often. As far as how to add shadow and lighting to different parts of the face. So, yeah, my style is I think more indicative of like probably 80s, 70s, 80s, Watchmen era, kind of thing. A little bit of that with some of the new stuff of today. I said, other than that, man, like the 90s aspect of it would be just the fact that it's, we make it fun. We make it entertaining, because I don't think your writing style is definitely not a 90s style. You know what I mean? It's not a 90s writing style, but in respects to the storytelling, but it is 90s in the fact that we're making it fun. We're making it engaging, man. We're making it exciting for the readers to be like, yeah, man, like this is, there's no hidden stuff, man. It's just all about having telling a nice, because Brand is like, it's martial arts fantasy and action, like
Oh
all
yeah,
in one.
yeah.
So
we were talking about like the Matrix earlier, and there's definitely gonna be you'll see like nods to the Matrix and stuff like that, and it was like, I definitely want to set things like that up when we do the action scenes and stuff like that. Just all the things that influenced me as a child.
I mean, you almost have to, man. Like stuff like that, dude, is like that's like the benchmark of cinema. Yeah, I'm always cognitive of treating sequential art like film, like storyboarding.
And your layouts are. I keep bragging about your layouts are so unique looking.
Oh, thanks,
I think because trust me, I've seen everybody can do like 4 panels, this, that. I'm like, man, the way you lay it is so dynamic, and I love it. I always get surprised when you show me a new layout because I was just like, and I was just like, yeah, this is something, I want to work with you for like 50 years. But let me get somebody, because man, there's some really good questions in the chat, and I want to tell you what to say. Retro Graphics bookseller, see, they made a great Crispin Glover nose. He was pissed. Yeah, that's why I'm saying he did win the lawsuit that he had against what was it, Universal or Amblin, the people that made Back to the Future, but he didn't get very much. So let me see. Alex Winter is Bill from Mike Parlett. Okay.
Yes, that's his name.
Yeah, Alex Winter. Let's see. Trencher 1375. I bet this book and brand will sell a lot more after the first volume is in our hands. I agree with that. Because a lot of people have remarked that we have one of the cheaper books on.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and especially for signed books. Way of the Gun will definitely be more expensive, but it'll be a bigger book also. But again, still signed and all that.
But I still say, man, like it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've got over 2,000 backers.
And now, I mean, that's going to be in their hands. They're going to have our work.
And they'll get to see the quality of it. And,
man.
And I know people will put them on eBay because they've got Stardust on eBay, and I've seen Jawbreakers on eBay and Graveyard. So there, people will have them on eBay and stuff like that, and that'll get more people out there. And I might put a few copies on eBay, and
the exposure, man. Like people, and not only that, man, but that's the thing. Like I said, we're moving along. Granted, so we still got some stuff to do. We're not done yet. But to those that are watching and those who have backed, at least for me, I don't want to just give you a book. I can give you a book. I can give you something, man, that you can just kind of read and be like, that's cool. But again, like if you call Ethan an indirect mentor or whatever, how it's done, for me. But I know something he said. It's not, Cyberfrog isn't going to be a book you just grab and then toss in the back seat when you're done.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He said when you see Cyberfrog, man, you're going to be like, okay, this isn't like an art piece. It deserves to be on the table, or what I'm saying, or have its own kind of shelf thing, man. And to me, man, that's what I want to bring and striving to bring and hopefully bring to brand for you guys as something, man, that you'll be like, you know what? Not only, man, is this, look good on the outside and on the inside, but it's a good story. Like, dude, like I can't wait for the next, thing to unravel. You know what I'm saying? The cliffhanger, how we leave it is going to, have people like, hopefully wanting more. And which you don't, you get that sometimes, some of the mainstreams like story arcs that, kind of leave you like wanting more. I think probably the one that was the most successful in recent years was the Dark Knight's Metal saga. Like everything was like, okay, I can't wait till next month. You know what I'm saying? I think the other one that's doing that kind of now is, again, from the wheelhouse of DC, would be the Batman Who Laughs miniseries.
I thought you was about to say Doomsday Clock because I think they killed the momentum of that with the books being so pushed back because people were stoked for Doomsday Clock, and then it was like, oh, this book's 3 months delayed. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, man, again, I was going to say some of the story arcs, a lot of story arcs, like particularly in Marvel, they're so convoluted. It's hard to follow. So you just kind of lose interest. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'll just wait for the trade or something, or I'll just wait till this ends and then whatever. You know, it's almost like it's so much going on. You know, they're trying to do 200 different things, man, that the story gets lost. But I know, like DC is smart playing off of Dark Knight's Metal, still continuing the Batman Who Laughs miniseries, you know, and now, you know, that Bruce Wayne is actually, well, I won't give any spoilers to folks who haven't read it, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the better stories, and even like the Man of Steel stuff, you know, with Superboy coming back at 17 years old now, you know, he aged, you know, you're figuring out what happened, and so to me, man, like, I guess, you know, I'm a DC fan, man, but I think they have some of the best stories in it right now, and you know, mainstream comics and stuff. But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I want us to have. I want Brand to be that book, man. That you're like, man, that's the stuff, man. Like when when you bought your first copy of Batman Returns, you know, you read Frank Miller's story. Not so much the sequels, but the original.
Yeah, no, I love to put that up because that's why I'm
now. I will say, DK4 and the kind of the newer stuff was actually really good. The way they ended the series, I thought was pretty interesting. And I think it kind of got back to, because it kind of wrapped up the whole Superman segment of it, you know, with his daughter and, you know, things like that. I thought that was a pretty nicely told story to kind of bring everything full circle. You know, if anybody has read or hasn't read any of the DK new stuff that came out probably what 2 years ago or so. I think that's when it was. I'm about to drop spoilers. So when I guess somehow Batman was basically made young again, and but he was like a little bit more aggressive, you know, after you know if you followed the first Batman Returns and all the things that led up to that, you know, how he was getting old and, you know, his body was just breaking down and, you know, he's having heart attacks and stuff like that. Well, they found a way to reverse it, but in the process, I guess it was like a Kryptonian invasion, and Wonder Woman and Superman's daughter got kind of sucked into the hype of the stuff that this Kryptonian ruler was peddling. Like, you know, you're almost like that elite mentality, like, you know, we're better than the Earth, and, you know, Earth is here for us to conquer. And so, you know, she basically sided with the Kryptonians, and, you know, they started going nuts on, you know, Earth and just attacking stuff left and right. And so, you know, Superman was like, you know, it finally came down to where he had to confront his daughter. And he was like, I'm not going to fight you, babe. He's like, you're my kid. You know, he's like, you know, that's not my goal is to attack you. And so she was like, just kind of sitting there. And of course, she's brainwashed by them. So she's like, you know, you either attack or I'm going to attack you. And so he's like, well, I'm not going to fight. And so she just starts going in on him, man. You know, and they end up like burying him inside of this like Earth and stuff. Or he finally gets out and he ends up taking on all the Kryptonians. And Batman says, he's like, he said, I've come to realize, he's like, all this time, I thought Superman was just, you know, I always thought he was, you know, his skill level was limited, whatever. He said, but now I see that he's been holding back this whole time, these many years, because he's never had an opponent that he can unleash on until now. And dude, he just started wrecking them, man. He's like doing martial arts, like all the training, the Justice League training that he had just came out, dude. And he was just like doing like all these like subduing moves, man, and kill strikes on all these Kryptonians. And then Batman released like this missile, whatever, lost into the atmosphere, and it interacted with the rain and it started raining kryptonite. Dude, it was crazy. So they were all like, ah, and so, it came down to, basically him and, Superman and his daughter kind of going head up. And he's like, they're deceiving you. And so she finally realized that, the Kryptonian dude was insane. And so she ended up flying into outer space and ended up blowing up with the Kryptonian guy, flew him into the sun, and exploded. But it ended, man. Like, it ended good. Like DK2, I didn't really follow him. It was too confusing.
Yeah, yeah, trust me. That's why I was like, oh, Frank.
What are you doing, bro?
Well, I mean, and I think Frank should draw less. Frank seems like he's got arthritis in his hands now or something, and it's not.
He's got something, man. He hasn't publicly said it, but he's got something.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm actually curious about him doing the Superman Year One thing with John Romita Jr. They put that cover out with his. He had the Frank Miller cover, but I know they're gonna do probably 80 variants, so they're gonna milk the shit out of this thing. Yeah. They're gonna, just like when they had the DK Strikes Back or whatever it was, they had like 70 variant covers.
Well, that's gonna be interesting, man, because we've never seen his Year One.
Well, the reason I say that is because, and I've pointed this out to a few people, if you've read any Superman that Frank Miller has written where he's interacting with Batman and stuff, Frank doesn't seem to like Superman. He seems to like Batman, but he doesn't seem to like Superman very much. So it's interesting to me that he's actually writing
Superman. Well, I mean, he may kind of, tell the story on why, for lack of a better term, he made him a pompous a-hole, in Dark Knight Returns. He might tell the story of why, he ended up like that. You know what I mean? Initially, because, how it ended, he definitely didn't, he definitely wasn't like that near the end. But, I don't think it so much was that he was pompous as is he's just a Boy Scout. You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily see the gray areas of things. It's either, black or white.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it this way, then obviously you're on the side of the wrong. And Batman is always definitely lives in the world of the gray. And a lot of times, he may think it's black and white, but he definitely lives in the world of the gray. And for Superman, it's like he can't live it. He can't allow himself to live there. Otherwise it would make him question even some of the things he's done. Like, man, well, maybe, he wasn't exactly as wrong as I thought, kind of thing. So we'll see.
Let me see. Trencher 1375, Dark Knight versus the Kryptonians was not written by Frank Miller, was it? Or was it?
I thought it was.
Maybe he didn't write it. I don't know, because I hadn't read that one yet. So it's like, and I got to be, like I said, the last few things, Frank, I kind of backed up. And I love Frank Miller, like that old Frank Miller stuff. I love Frank Miller stuff. But yeah, that newer stuff started leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, for me, it was the art was just kind of bad.
Oh, the art was definitely bad. The art was definitely bad.
I was like, what? Like everybody was shaking.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get into that kind of hard-boiled Sin City style, I could live with that. Well, boy, it's gotten so broken down now.
Well, the Batman Returns initially was that kind of Sin City, 300 kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And it was also retro, it had that 80s feel to it. So it was like, okay, cool, But like DK2 was like, I was like, dude, it's like scratchy. Like everybody was doing.
Like I had a stroke, but I have to finish the book and everything. No, there was a very interesting video. I think the guy was British that did it. And he actually was like, "This is my analysis of the Dark Knight Strikes Back." Or whatever. And so he went in and he was showing panels where it looked like Frank just really didn't even try. You know, it was like, and the colorist tried to help him out and did it. It's like you literally see that there's like a figure there with no background, and it is like he was really in depth. I mean, the video's like 17, 18 minutes. He went through the whole thing and just kind of broke down and incoherent, and I was just like, and I hate to see stuff like that. That's like when you get to a certain point.
Honestly, I mean, it's and I don't know if it's even getting to a certain point because DK2 came out. I mean, it was sometime after the first one, but not a lot.
Right.
So I mean, it was still during his, hot era. I mean, not saying he's not writing anything hot now.
Oh, no, DK2 came out. It was like, wasn't it like the 15-year anniversary or 10-year or something? They were trying to do it was an anniversary thing.
Yeah, I thought it was. I know it wasn't like. I mean, it wasn't.
He could still write though, because it was around that time that
2000s.
Yeah, but I mean, my point was that around that same time that he did that, he also did Daredevil Man Without Fear with John Romita Jr., which was brilliantly written. Great story. So I'm sitting there, he can still write. I'm like, it's like, I just worry that maybe Frank's having like dementia, or although he did say he was battling alcoholism and stuff, and I know Neil Adams is talking about that. I know him and Neil Adams are friends, and it was just
well, I know, just physically, man, you can tell something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely physically, because it was very telling. Him and Todd McFarlane did a art trade, and so Todd loved Frank, which he should. I love Frank, and he was like, "Hey, draw me something," and in exchange for in exchange for you drawing me something, I'll draw you something, just like they just did like a little head sketch.
Right.
And Frank drew him this little Batman head sketch.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd was so happy because it was clearly a Frank Miller original. But I looked at that and I was like, that looked like something the third grader drew. Well, just gave it to Todd and put Frank Miller's initials on it.
Well, and Frank will probably arguably admit he's not the best artist. So I mean, it's like,
go back and look at his early Marvel stuff. Look at the Marvel, the Wolverine miniseries he did with Chris Claremont. Frank's bad as shit, and then he started getting into that rougher style. He can draw traditionally, or he used to be. I don't know if he can draw traditionally now.
Yeah, so I think physically, man, I don't know if he's able to do a lot of stuff actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to allow, but I thought if his mind is still sharp, he's a writer. Yeah. I don't need him to draw. I need those Frank Miller stories.
Yeah,
he likes to draw them as well. But I think Frank.
I think that's why a lot of people helped out during the relaunch of the DK stuff.
Yeah, DK3.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of emulated his style. I think even the person that did
DC was aware. Trust me, they look at the forums, they see what people say. They be like, "This is shit. What is that, man?"
Well, not only that, man, but I mean, he said, they're not blind to, even if nobody publicly says anything, obviously something's going on.
But I'm just saying, if his mind is still sharp, then having him draw stuff, just have him write. But I'm saying some of the writing has been a little.
Well, I actually enjoyed the last two. I think.
Well, people have said that they definitely got better. I don't know if they got someone to actually.
I think they may have had somebody else to write it.
Well, I'm saying to talk to him and be like, "Hey, Frank, come on, man." That's what I'm saying. Like when Todd held up this, like, we got Frank's a buddy of mine, and he drew this Batman, and I'm gonna draw him a little Spider-Man or whatever. And he drew Frank a little picture to send to him, and it was like little Spider-Man. It's just me drawing Spider-Man. No, dude, trust me. I watch pretty much. I'm glued to Todd McFarlane. I love Todd McFarlane. Do you understand? Awesome. I love Todd McFarlane. He is. I would very much like to meet him and shake his hand one day, and just 30 years plus of being a fan.
No,
Todd McFarlane.
he is definitely he is the poster child for he's to me, he's kind of like he's did for comics what Mayweather did for boxing.
Yeah.
Despite of how you feel about I'm not a fan of Mayweather's personality by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's arrogant and a few other things. However, he played the game and he won. You know, what'd you say?
I'm about to say I'm gonna get this question because
you good.
I gotta head somewhere, so we gotta wrap this one up.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
But let me get this. But Caanan, obviously, you know I love you, brother. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. But Shade asks any updates on getting my videos back, and I have heard from YouTube a few times. They are they are confused about what happened. They don't know. That's what I'm starting to get.
But do they have the content? I mean, can they just put it back up or what?
That's the thing. They're having problem. They're having problems.
Is it not on the certain? They probably lost that stuff.
I don't know, and that's the thing. I was lucky that someone had downloaded the Andersoni interview. I'd love to get the Steve Englehart is such a huge influence on me, and I would love to get that interview back with him. But apparently, no one downloaded it like they did the Andersoni interview. That was just a stroke of luck. Sanford Green, love to get that one back, but I actually heard from Sanford again the other day. Sanford has said he'd be willing to come back, so. I reached out to him and I congratulated him. You know, they sold Bitter Root. Yeah, they sold Bitter Root to Hollywood. So that is
that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So that is So I was happy. You know, I told him, I said, "Hey, congratulations, brother." I said, "I celebrate your success." And and he was just wrote back real quick. So I appreciate Sanford. Like I said, so I'm not as worried about that because it sounds like I'll be able to get him back. Me and him hit it off pretty well. Me and him, we swapped a couple emails and all that kind of thing. Good. And so that was good. So we are going to wrap it up, Cecil, like a condom. We believe in safe sex here on the Ikari Press channel.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Cecil said, wrap it up. So, okay. But yeah, like I said, I got to hop in the car and roll out. So,
cool, man.
So, all right. Anybody that is interested in Caanan's channel, looking at Caanan, obviously follow him on the Twitter and on the Instagram. His channel is actually featured in he just put a video up this morning for the first time in forever. So, but yeah, Caanan, tell him how to reach out to you. And
you can get me on, of course, YouTube at Art of Caanan White. I said, just put up a video, time-lapse video of a character named Naomi. Which you'll enjoy. You can also look at me on Facebook, also at the Art of Caanan White. You can get me on Twitter at @cap_white if you just want to chat and talk. I don't fight on Twitter, so that's not gonna happen. And then Instagram, Caanan02. You can see all my latest artwork there as well. So, and if you do get a chance to go on my Instagram, there is a link that leads to my art station, and that has all my artwork on it. So you can see everything in its entirety, full detail and all that stuff. So,
yep. All right. Well, guys, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Absolutely. And and of course, again, big thanks to my dear friend, Mr. Caanan White, for sharing this with me and just for being a great partner. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Ikari Press. And if you type in IkariPress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Caanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out.
Peace.